Hey, hey, hey. Can you hear me? Hello, everyone in YouTube land. Hi, Gemini. Hi, Nika. Hi, Alchemy. Alchemy. Okay, so you took the Magic and Numbers workshop. Thank you for taking that workshop. I'm glad you're still thinking about it. I had a ball, and it was so insightful. Hi, A. Hi, Sonya. All right. So before I get started, I'm going to just wait till this room fills. And as you come in, please hit the like button just so it can, I don't know what the like button does really. I'm just following other people's lead on YouTube. Hey, Siobhan, how you doing? So I've typed up an agenda for tonight, but the main topic is going to be Jada Pinkett's chart, as you can see. And I think there's a delay. So I'm gonna see internet windows open. But can you hear me okay? Hi, Dimitri. How you doing? So far in here. So we're just gonna wait. Hey, Charlotte, how you doing? Your birthday was September 5th. Hi. Oh my God, it's this delay. I don't like that. Let me see what I can close. Much open. Let me see something. And then the chat just disappeared. Let me close this, close that, close that. Hey, Henry. Well, welcome. I'm glad it's your first time here. You got your snacks. What do you have? What are your snacks? Hey, Shayla. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Hopefully, it'll stop with the delay. Who else we got up in here? Oh, thank you, Asia. Asia said, I like the energy you bring. You're such a beautiful soul. Thank you so much. Let's see. So I think I'm gonna wait until I got about maybe 50 people up in here. But for the people that are already in here, feel free to shout out your sign, your birth date, all that good stuff. Hey, oh my God, Tarot. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you love the Dark Sided series. Yes, I do. You know what? One of my clients told me the other day, she was like, it's like you roast the signs. And I'm like, you know what? That's true. And one time I was thinking about doing a series where I like do a comic special where I roast the signs. Actually, I had this dream of doing stand-up one time and doing stand-up where I roast the signs. I might do that one time, especially once I write my book and do a book tour. Thank you, Miko. And of course, I got something in my eye. I swear, every time. This is why I don't like wearing mascara. I am not a high maintenance person, trust me. So the way I look right now, this is not how I look on a regular day. I usually don't wear no makeup. Usually got my hair pulled back in a bun. Hey, Latasha, I'm glad to see you. So you're about to go into work? Yes, they can wait. Thank you, Shayla. So Sonia, you're born January 15, 1966. That 15, that's a nice number. See, like I said, I am so low maintenance. That's why I don't even like wearing makeup. But God damn it, if it doesn't do wonders for your face, I swear. Okay. All right. So while I have, okay, so we got 23 people up in here. So while I have you guys up in here, I decided to do just some warm-ups. One thing I'll do right now, I'll post my website. So if you've never received, or if you've never been to my website, you could check it out. But I also provide free numerology readings on my homepage. So if you never received one, hey, awkward letter, you could go and fill out the form, and then you'll receive it within about 48 hours. But one of the things I was going to talk about, just for an icebreaker, is since it's Virgo season, and I've been thinking about, hey, Shayla, May 18th, 1983. So you're 18 like Jada Pinkett. So how's that 18 work out for you? Do you, because that 18 can be rather challenging, especially with relationships. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, because it's Virgo season, I've been thinking about Michael Jackson. I was watching a clip of him last night because I watched the, what is that? That Soul Train documentary, The Hippest Trip in America. I've seen it a few times before, but I decided to watch it last night because I didn't have nothing to watch. Oh, yeah, 18 is a very sexual number. But, oh, yeah, I will in a minute, Paige. You might have to remind me. But what I was saying is, yeah, I was thinking about Michael Jackson. You know, he's a Virgo. And I was like, well, let me just to do a little icebreaker. What are your thoughts on Michael Jackson versus Prince? Who do you think was the better performer? Or do you think that's a hard one for me, but I have to go with Prince because Prince is just, yeah, I agree, Paige. Prince is just, I mean, they both were phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. They both were great. So Awkward says Michael Jackson. Says Michael Jackson. Y'all could put why. I do really like the both of them. Like both of them were like phenomenal. Hey Desiree, how you doing? Desiree said Prince. I agree. They both were like phenomenal performers, but I think Prince was much more talented in terms of musicianship. Y'all, Tiffany Haddish is a Sag. Speaking of Tiffany Haddish, I was watching an interview with her last night. She was on that red table, Jada Pinkett's red table, and supposedly her and Jada Pinkett are friends. Yes, Prince was way more sexual. I would say Michael Jackson was almost like asexual. Nika said Prince voice-wise, in my opinion, Prince had more range. Mike was a showman. Yes, Prince definitely had more range. Prince was more versatile, which speaks to that Gemini. Awkward Letter said, I think MJ had more soul and danced his ass off. Prince was more pop funk. Yeah, I could see that. They both were complicated people, and that's very much characteristic of people that are like geniuses. So, you know, they both had their issues, but by far, Michael Jackson had more issues. And again, that speaks of Michael Jackson being a Virgo versus Prince being a Gemini, because a Gemini could go through a lot of stuff, but they could still, you know, act like it's just water off of a duck's back. But Virgo, they take things too seriously, and any type of hurt and pain that they experienced in their childhood, you best believe they're carrying it into adulthood. Whereas a Gemini, a lot of times they can shake it off more so. Paige said Prince was original. Wait a minute, who was a coon groupie? Oh, you talk about Tiffany Haddish. Taro said Michael Jackson was a better performer. Prince was a better creator. Yeah, maybe, you know what? You might be right about that. But Prince was a good performer too. Awkward said both Michael Jackson and Prince are Mercurians with water rising and moons. Hey, Cyril, how you doing? So we got 35 people in here, but we only got 6 likes. So, hey, Keone. That's my daughter. She came and joined us. So, Keone, who do you prefer, Prince or Michael Jackson? Usually Quiet Scorpio prefers Prince. I haven't been taking a tally, but I think it's pretty much split down the middle. We got 36 people in here. Henry said Prince's sun was in the 8th house, also Scorpio rising, which explains the powerful presence and stare. Hell yeah. So, Keone, you said yes, but is it Prince? Hey, Cyril, is it Prince or Michael Jackson? Oh, my God. You messing with her. Awkward Letter. I wish you would change that profile picture. My God. Hey, Savannah. So, Savannah says Prince. Keone said Michael Jackson. Okay. But oh my God, I was watching that clip. Like I said, I was watching that Hippest Trip in America on that documentary on YouTube last night, and they had that clip of Michael Jackson on Soul Train with his brothers, and he was doing the robot. And oh my God, that right there, I would say that Michael Jackson was a better dancer than Prince. I have to say that hands down. Michael Jackson had it better with the dances. And because Michael Jackson was like a perfectionist, which is so Virgo. So he was like a straight up perfectionist. Like, just go back and just put in YouTube search Michael Jackson robot, and you'll see what I mean about him being so perfectionistic. It really looked like he was a robot. I felt like he could dance better back in the day than like in the 80s. But even in the 80s, when he would do those spins, that's another thing. Prince couldn't do those spins like Michael Jackson. You know how Michael Jackson would do those spins and then stop on a dime? Yes. Now, has anybody ever been to a Michael Jackson concert or a Prince concert or both? I haven't been to either, but I have seen Jada Jackson live though, and she put on a good show. Hey, Akea. Hey, Drama. Okay, so we got 34 people in here. We had 36, so I guess a couple of people dropped off. That's all good. Wait a minute. Somebody said Prince was more authentic. I would more about being an artist, and I think Michael Jackson was more about being a performer, if you know what I mean. Like, Prince was more about his art, and it was like, I don't care if you don't like my art, because he had a lot of songs that, you know, some of his songs I was kind of like, just I don't know about that one, but of course a lot of his songs I did love. But Michael Jackson's, like, his music was always had to be pop friendly, like someone else kind of said. Another Virgo I want to talk about real briefly is Barry White, because I was watching a documentary about him last night, because I was into the music thing last night hard. I'm always into the music thing, but since I finally found out how to sync my YouTube to my smart TV, because I'm not really tech savvy, so it takes me a while to catch on to things. And actually, this wasn't really it wasn't really me being slow. It was actually I had to do it manually, enter in some code. So now I'm able to watch YouTube on my TV. So I was like, let me watch some documentaries and stuff. So like I said, I watched the Soul Train documentary, and I also watched a documentary on Barry White, Behind the Music. And he's a Virgo. Well, was a Virgo. He's no longer with us. But he was coined the maestro. And he was, of course, that, yes, smooth as hell. He was like that sex symbol, even though he was big. But he was a typical Virgo. Typical Virgo. Oh, hell yeah, Akater. About Jada. I'm going to get into her in a minute. Barry White was a typical Virgo, born September 12th. And when I say he was a typical Virgo, he was a typical Virgo in that when he was being interviewed, like, the guy that was interviewing him would be bigging up his accomplishments and would be saying like, yeah, they call you the maestro. They talked about his sex symbol status and all that. And Barry White, first of all, he just seemed like he just had this very negative attitude. And it just seemed like any type of title he was given or reputation, he was just like, if you say I'm that. Like, that was like, he kept on saying that, like, if you say I'm that, or if you say it was a comeback. And I was just like, oh my God, he's so like, you could tell that he was a difficult person, basically. Very talented, smooth, yes, that permed hair, like, he just had that voice. And let me tell you, I'm so like serious about my music that I be having, like, when I fall in love or if I'm seeing a dude or something like that, I'll have like certain theme music to go along with it. So when I was dealing with this Leo dude, his voice was so deep. That was one of the attractive factors about him. When I first talked to him on the phone, his voice was so deep. I swear to God, it was like a lion. And it was like the deepest voice I ever heard. It was like sexy as hell too. So it was like, okay, well, what music do I have to play to accompany like this dude because of his voice? So I remember back then I was like playing a lot of, yes, that voice will do it. The sex was horrible though, but the voice was like on point. But I was like, I need some music that's going to be able to accompany that voice, like his all that, and I had to go with Barry White. So I remember I was like playing Barry White hard around that time. So yeah. So now every time I hear Barry White, I think about the Leo dude, which isn't a good thing because he turned out to be a real asshole. Henry said 4-degree Pisces sun. Ever since I found you, Rabina, I've been researching so much into numerology. I'm fascinated. Well, good, Henry. I'm glad. I like deep voices too, but this dude's voice was a little bit too deep at times. I mean, like it was so deep that I was taken aback when I first talked to him on the phone. I was like, oh, all right, what else did I want to talk about? Oh, here it is. Now, this one right here, I'm going to do a mini little reading. When I say mini, I mean real mini. And it's not even really a reading, but I'm going to be checking on somebody for a client of mine. And I'm not going to mention his name. I'm just going to call him Mr. Pisces. And the reason why I'm doing it live is because I'm really busy. And I'm like, I'm time. And, you know, I'm in that mode of wanting to do a reading because, first of all, he's a sweetheart. I love him to death. He's like a son to me because he's actually like younger than my middle daughter. My middle daughter is 8. And so the thing was, I'm always, you know, really looking out for him because, you know, he's a Pisces. My daughter's a Pisces too. So like when it comes to Pisces, I'm just very protective of them. So I told him, and I tell a lot of my clients this, I'm like, you know, once you get a reading with me, if you're like looking for someone, if you're in the dating department or whatever, and you have any questions about somebody, and you just want me to check out their chart or whatever, I'm like, yeah, just send me their birth date. I'll look at their chart. I'll let you know if you should even waste your time and all that stuff. So he sends me this dude's birthday, and I'm like, he's gay, by the way. He sends me this dude's birthday, and I'm like, I pull his chart and everything, and I tell him about, oh yeah, he's this, blah blah blah. Leave him alone. Don't deal with him. He's blah 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 blah. And then he comes back and he's like, well, what about if he was born at a different time? And I'm like, well, that's not going to change up a lot of the aspects. So it's still what I said still goes. And he's like, then he comes back the next day, or it was the same day. Awkward letter said most Pisces men are gay. He comes back the same day, I think. And he's like, Rabina, don't virtually slap me. And he's like, but I got the birth date wrong. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so Pisces. And I'm just like, oh my God, no, he didn't. So he didn't just get the date wrong. He got the date and the year wrong. So I'm like, are you serious? I even had to chastise him a little bit, but I did it with love. And you know, I love you, Mr. Pisces. So I just had to let him know. I was like, you know, I'm very busy. So when you asked me to pull a chart, I was like, when you asked me to pull a chart, please get the birth date right, because, you know, I'm taking time out of my day to do this for you. I'm done. So here you go, Mr. Pisces. I pulled, I'm going to just call him G. I pulled G chart. So let me just look at it real quick and see what's what. All right. Sun at the 16th degree of Pisces. I'm not feeling that already. And it's opposed to Uranus. I'm not feeling that. That could be someone that has sociopathic tendencies, or they can just objectify people even. Issues with commitment. We'll have a hard time committing to one person. His Mars is conjoined to Mercury, and he could be very forceful, verbally abusive even. Of course, I'm just looking at the negative parts because I just have to cut to the chase, because that's what I'm looking out for you for. I'm just making sure you don't get hurt in this whole thing. So let me see. I feel like with him being an 8, he does have some opportunistic tendencies. So let me see what his Saturn is doing. Oh, hell yeah. He got Venus square Saturn. That could deal with him wanting to be in a relationship, but only for basically opportunistic reasons. Otherwise, he's not really relationship oriented. That Venus square Saturn is very much a loner aspect. So even if he tries to be in a relationship, He's going to want a lot of time on his own, even if, and that's the thing where you might feel like you can't trust him, but that don't mean that he's cheating. He just might need some time on his own. Sometimes just being around people is a bit much. So that Venus square Saturn, that reinforces his 8 birth number. Let me calculate his life path number real quick. But already, see all that Leo energy and you're a Pisces, that's not good off the bat. I don't like that for you. He's too sophisticated for you. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Damn. All right. $18 life path number, leave him alone. Because he's headed for a life of conflict, a life of, and he might be hypersexual, especially with that Mars conjoined to his Mercury. Can be quite selfish. So yeah, and he got Venus square Jupiter too. So he's not the type that, he's definitely not the type that's going to want to settle down quickly. He got Moon conjoined to Pluto. That can make him basically parasitic, controlling even. So yeah, I wouldn't deal with him. He doesn't have anything in Pisces. And he got a stellium in Sagittarius, which conflicts with your Pisces energy. Leave him alone. So yeah. Don't even and that's the thing, like I'll tell my client, like, he's not the one, leave him alone. And I could tell before he even responds that he's like, damn, because I could tell he gets caught up in looks. Well, Will Hustle, you should. I love it too, Jules. Jules said, I love the combo of numerology and astrology. Not many understand both. Yeah, see, with my Mars and Gemini, I just like I have no choice but to mix it up. Okay, so we got 43 people up in here. Hey, Drama, you need a reading? Oh, that's what I meant to tell you guys. So if anybody would like a reading in here, utilize the super chat feature and donate at least $5. And, you know, I can do your reading. Now, Will Hustle, it all depends. If you want a reading in here real quick, you could just donate at least $5 to the super chat. Thank you, Keone. Or if you, here's my website, if you want to look and see all my offerings. I don't like talking about prices. I'm just like that. I got Venus and Libra. I don't like talking about prices like that. So just go to my website and you'll see all that. Damn, why is it saying error? Hold on, let me try it again. What, I can't post webs? Okay, I was about to say. So there's my website right there. And yeah. So before, so some people dropped off. I guess I shouldn't be anal and wait till we get to 50 before I get into Jada's chart. But what y'all think about that Serena situation? Let me tell you something about that. There was a few people in the comment section that didn't appreciate my video on Serena. I'm like, but I thought I went easy on her. I'm like, I didn't even think the video was negative. I mean, I'm just like, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I'm like, if she is, if I feel like she got some narcissistic traits and I feel like, you know, she lost her composure and stuff like that, then I mean, shoot. And her chart says a lot about that. Yeah. Thank you, Denny Tico. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Desiree. Yes, I got 18 likes, 43 people in here. So please get the likes up. Thank you. So Gabriel, that's that. And then let me see. So what was I just talking about? Oh, Serena. So yeah, of course, but I had a feeling some people were going to have a problem. I'm about to take some vitamin C gummies. I knew some people would have a problem with it. My thing is, why do people get so bent out of shape over celebrities, people that they don't even know? You know what I'm saying? Why would, like, this one person wrote like a 7-paragraph comment and was basically only because I said Serena does look manly. Now, I purposely didn't touch on the whole transgender thing, I did mention that people have speculated that Serena may be transgender, but everybody should know that now. If you see any videos dealing with Serena, a lot of people will say, oh, she look like a man, or that's a tranny, or whatever like that. So I'm not saying anything new. So I was just relaying what people are saying. And then I said, well, she does look manly. And I feel like she does. And thank you, Dimitri. I'll get to your reading once I post up your question. Well, actually, don't post your question now. Just hold on, because I'm gonna get to this chart a little bit. But I'm like, she looks manly to me, and other people feel like she looks manly too. And I'm like, now you can't call a spade a spade. I'm like, there's a lot of women that have a manly look. Sometimes they're called handsome. You ever hear of people describe a woman as a handsome beauty? And then you have some men that have a very feminine look. One time I seen this man going into the store and he had some wide, rounded hips. And I remember that, Keone? Me and my daughter, we saw this man and he had this bubble butt and he had these wide, rounded hips. And you could tell, like, this was the way he was born. It was just genetics. So some people just got more testosterone. Other people, you know what I mean? So I'm like, it's not like, I don't know why some people get bent out of shape about just because, you know, you describe the way a person looks. It's like, now you got to call everybody beautiful. Everybody got to be, but I'm just like, I don't get it. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that, about how some people just take things way too seriously. And when you jump and defend celebrities, but you don't even know these people personally, you don't really know how they get down in their personal life. So I'm like, why are you taking it so personally? Why are you defending this person? And from the looks of Serena's chart, she doesn't look like she's that nice of a person. So she just doesn't. She's Serena is a Taurus rising. So yes, Taurus rising, and her Venus is in Scorpio. So that right there points to her not being that much of an agreeable person. And it's in the 7th house. Jules Verne said, let's be PC about it. That's one thing I'm not. And that's why, because I'm hard. Like I told this one chick on this other video, I was like, I'm a harsh critic when it comes to everybody. Gay, straight, in between, it don't matter. I'm going to be, I read everybody for filth. No, let me stop. But no, I keep it real. And a lot of people, they do appreciate that. But some people, they just can't take it. Denny Tico said, and she seems like she has issues with her own race. Because I feel like she's pretty much like down with the black race, but because you know she all down with Beyonce and stuff and was all dancing in the video and like twerking and stuff. But she did marry the dude. Nothing wrong with that. But I think a lot of black people like don't know what to think about Serena, because on one end you got a lot of pro-blacks that, you know, they had a hard time dealing with the fact that she got. Oh, thank you, Desiree. I think I was very easy on her. You have a lot of pro-blacks that, you know, they took it hard that she married the white guy. But then these same pro-blacks are always caping for her, talking about, oh, you know, they out to get her and stuff. I'm like, if they were out to get her, she would have won 20 matches by now. This woman has won 20 matches. She's a multi-million-dollar tennis champion. You don't become a tennis champion and accumulate multi-million dollars, have Nike deals and all that stuff if people are out to sabotage your career, if people are out to get you. Like, why would they wait this long to when she's at the end of her career for them to come after her? No, Serena brought this on herself with her nasty attitude. She has a nasty attitude. She's a sore loser. And she really took it hard because, make us proud, she really took it hard because Naomi Osaka is only 20 years old. And naturally, I would think anybody would take that hard. I would take it hard. But it's all about how you carry yourself. And it's about, you know, being a good role model for the younger ones that are coming up. The younger, you know, aspiring tennis players. What about these kids that are looking up to Serena? And here she is breaking her racket. That's not the first time she broke her racket. Then, you know, she's threatening the umpire, talking about you're never going to work again on my court as long as you live and all this stuff. Like, that was so uncalled for, but it just shows you her character and how she can't accept defeat. But I blame her father. Her father drilled all that into her. And perhaps maybe once he left this earth, she really started to become even more aggressive. Maybe her father helped her to keep things together. Nika said, why do people think dating outside your race makes you racist? I never got that. But I think they might look at it like you're a traitor. What is that? Maybe she is on amphetamines? Well, people have speculated that she's on steroids and performance-enhancing drugs. And there was this one story, because I was watching a few videos about Serena. There was this one story where I heard that some of the tennis officials came to do a drug test on her, and then she ran into her panic room or something, and she wouldn't come out and submit to the drugs. She wouldn't submit to the drug test. I'm just like, Keone said, what athlete isn't nowadays? I think most of them do be juicing. For real. Let's be real. Most people, like, nowadays, they will do what they can to get over. We are in those days and times now. So we still at 53. I think I'm going to go ahead and go into Jada's chart, because her chart is interesting. And I will say this. I'm kind of split down the middle with Jada Pinkett. Now, I always liked Jada as an actress. I'll tell you some of the movies I liked with her that she was in the best. Of course, Low Down Dirty Shame. She played the shit out of that role. What was her name in Low Down Dirty Shame, Keone? Because Keone loves that movie. Yeah, what was her name in Low Down Dirty Shame? And I loved how short her hair was. Peaches, Miss Peaches. Yes. Oh my God, I love that role she played in that movie, and she was so funny. And I love when she wore. Desiree said she thinks she's a dark-sided Virgo. She's coming straight out with it. I loved how short her hair was, and then I loved her in Set It Off. Of course, she plays Stoney in Set It Off. I didn't like her role in Jason's Lyric. She got on my nerves in that movie, and I hated her hair in that movie. God, her hair was annoying. Oh, yeah, I loved her in Woo. Thank you, Sarah. Sarah, she was in Woo. Thank you. I totally would have forgot that. I love that movie, Woo. It's one of those quirky, funny movies. Tommy Davidson is in it, and she basically goes out on a date with Tommy Davidson, and she takes him on this crazy roller coaster ride, and like she just puts him through hell. So she does a really good job in that movie. I'm trying to think, what else was she in? Y'all help me out. What other movies was Jada in? I didn't like that recent movie that she was in, Bad Moms. Oh no. And the thing is, I don't like a lot of these new comedies nowadays because they're too lowbrow, and the humor, I don't like a lot of that toilet humor. Like in the movie, Jada Pinkett, she had too much to drink. And then she did that swing on, what was it, a zip lining thing or something? And then she ended up peeing on the crowd. I'm just like, come on now. That wasn't even funny to me. She was in The Matrix, but I never seen The Matrix, that Matrix Reloaded. Yeah, she was in Menace to Society. So I liked her role in that, but I thought she was a little bit too, she was very Virgo in that role. Yeah, Menace to Society. Nutty Professor, yes. I didn't like her in Nutty Professor because that tired ass wig. It actually wasn't her. It was that wig. I don't know why they slapped that wig on her head, but it was horrible. Living Color. I loved her in The Inkwell. Yes, she was a manipulative god. Thank you for reminding me about The Inkwell. Yeah, I'm gonna. I never saw her TV. Are you talking about Hawthorne, Desiree? I never saw Hawthorne. Yes, Dimitri, that ridiculous sandy color wig, that was horrible. I never saw Demon Knight, usually quiet Scorpio. Oh my God, Terrell said, oh my God, I'm a Pisces. I want you to protect me. Yes, I just have this protective instinct when it comes to Pisces. I'm gonna get to that, Akato. Just trust me, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna explain everything. Yeah, I never saw Hawthorne. I never had a desire to see it. I'm not really into like those medical dramas. Yeah, she was in a different world. I think she played Lena in a different world. Oh yeah, it was Girls Trip where she did the P, not Bad Moms, but she was in Bad Moms too. Both of them are horrible movies. I saw both of them just to take some research to see how bad movies have gotten. And let me tell you, I was clutching my imaginary pearls watching both of them. And the thing is, I'm no prude, but some of the stuff that be in these new movies nowadays, I'd be like, these movies are just, they deserve like an X rating, some of them. One movie in particular that I saw, and this is not about Jada, but it's about that nasty ass Marlon Wayans, and he got Mars conjoined to Mercury. Speaking of that, Marlon Wayans, he put out that movie 50 Shades of Black, and I knew it was going to be corny and stupid, but I rented it from Redbox just to do some research, because I'd be doing research to see how low they're going to go. And let me tell you, that movie went low, and it had me really questioning Marlon Wayans' mental health, because I'm like, yo, dude is gone. And I got theories about the whole Wayans brothers. Don't even get me started on them. I'll just say one word: incest. Moving along. Virgo, Jada Pinkett. Back to Jada. Okay, so let's get into her chart. So Marlon is a Leo, and he got Mars conjoined to Mercury in Leo, and that can deal with maybe somebody in his family was I'll just say this: the Wayans family, they're just weird. I'll just say that. Oh, I think Marlon Wayans is straight up gay. Like, I don't even think he's bisexual. I think he's all out gay. Yes. Sean Wayans too. Okay, so where am I at? Oh, and that's another thing. I gotta say this, since we're talking about gay this and gay that, and when we get into Jada's chart, we're gonna be talking about gay a lot. Now, I had another person post a comment on one of my other videos, and a couple of people were chiming in, and this one person was like, I feel like you have like this negative attitude towards gays and all this stuff, and I feel like every time she said something like, why you always gotta make a big deal out of gay and stuff, and I was like, that's when I was saying, I don't discriminate. I'm a harsh critic of gay, straight, and anybody in between. And I was like, I don't think y'all ever once heard me bash gays or anything like that. But I'm also not the type of person where I'm going to, you know how some people, before they talk about gays or the LGBT community, they make this disclaimer, and before they talk about it and be like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being gay. I'm not going to do that, because I'm like, being gay is, it's just another part of sexuality. Okay, big deal. Like, we've dealt with this gay shit for forever. So I'm not about to be like, have this disclaimer and all this stuff. I have friends that are gay. I have clients that are gay. So what? So it's like, if I talk about gay stuff, it's because it's in the chart, or it's because that's how the person is. But for some reason, some people want to get all sensitive when I mention anything about gay or the LGBT community or anything like that. And that had me thinking, and I was like, okay, people that get all upset and get their panties in a bunch whenever somebody mentions gay, and when they don't put that disclaimer in there, like, oh, I love gays, or if they're not handling the situation with kid gloves on, then it's like, I'm thinking, okay, it's because you must be insecure. Like, there's something about you that you don't feel right about it. Because why are you picking apart everything I say, or why are you hanging on every little word that I say and my tone and all that stuff just because I mentioned gay? It's just, sometimes I'm just like, it's like, okay, for the past 30 years, LGBTQ, hey, Mickey, LGBTQ has been, really put to the forefront in American culture. But then the minute that someone talks about it, people get all like, oh, and I'm like, but this is how it's supposed to be, right? Y'all wanted it to be out in the open and, you know, mainstream and stuff. So if we're going to talk about it, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to be real about it. Okay, let me get off my soapbox. But I just get like, I get really annoyed when people want to pick apart my statements and stuff, and just because I keep it real about certain things. And if somebody, I'm going to mention it. Just like I'm going to mention something about if I see that a straight person might be a cheater. So that's that. Okay, so let's get into Jada's chart. So Jada was born September 18th, 1971. It makes her 18 birth number. That 18 is rather challenging. It basically produces a conflict between one's spiritual and material values. So if you've been following Jada Pinkett for quite a while, then you can kind of get an understanding of what I'm talking about a conflict between your spiritual and material values. Yes, Henry, that 18 is not a nice number. And who was I talking to the other day, and that she got a reading with someone, and they told her too that 18 was not a good number. It was this astrologer from Serbia or something like that. And he was like, oh yeah, that 18 is not good. So yeah, I'm not the only one who thinks that. And then 18 breaks down to 9. 9 is her life path number, actually. Oh, thank you, Keone. I know you love Markiplier. I should do a reading on him one day because he's a major YouTuber. But her birth number 18 also points to her sex addiction. So recently, Jada Pinkett has came out. Oh, I'm at 50 now. Hey, get the likes up, please, if you like the content so far. But basically, Jada Pinkett recently came out and said that she has had a sex addiction. So that points to her 18 birth number. Also points to her life path number of 9. That reinforces that birth number. And that's Mars energy right there. Now, 9 is also about self-actualization, self-determination, making a name for yourself, and it reinforces the theme of conflict. Now, I don't know what time Jada was born, but her sun could either be at the 24th degree of Virgo or the 25th degree of Virgo, depending on what time she was born on the 18th. I'm leaning towards the 25th, considering her circumstances in life, and also especially with respect to her sex addiction, because 25 breaks down to 7, and 7 can produce addictions. So also, I'm going to get into my speculation about her rising sign and why I feel like she's this in a minute. Now, one of her biggest challenges is that she has, well, I'll say it's one of her biggest challenges, but it's also one of her greatest strengths in her chart. She has her sun conjoined to Pluto, and that can produce a life of prominence. It can deal with her striving for empowerment. And basically, it's like where it's never enough for her. Whatever she's accomplished, she still wants more. She still wants to continue to become more and more empowered. Also, always needs to be on the verge of some kind of major development. Also, this is about reinventing herself, and where she experiences rebirths at certain times of her life. And also that sun conjoined to Pluto makes her want to be a person of influence and a person of power. But on the dark end, it can make her a control freak. Let me see what some people are saying. Hey, Quentin. Hey, Tonga. Hey, NYC Black Honey. Let me see who else we got. Hey, Fletcher. Okay, so let me finish. So her sun conjoined to Pluto, like I said, that makes her a control freak. And I think she did mention that she is like a control freak. It can make her very neurotic. It can produce OCD tendencies. And also her sun conjoined to Pluto's points to Will Smith, because the sun can represent a husband. So in general, that sun conjoined to Pluto can deal with a husband that is prominent, that is powerful and influential. However, it can also deal with she has to share him with others, which she does. And this also represents her sex addiction. So it reinforces that 18 birth number, that 9 life path number. So she got it pretty bad with the sex addiction. And then add into the fact that her sun is conjoined to the asteroid Eros. That asteroid Eros deals with lust, It deals with sexual proclivities. It deals with you just being a hypersexual person when it's on your sun. So Jada has it bad. Like when she says that she has a sex addiction, she's not lying. The interesting thing is, because I was watching some of Jada Pinkett's interviews and stuff, and on that Red Table show she has, some of the stuff she says is pretty cringy, and her chart speaks a lot about this. So her sun conjoined to Pluto, like I said, sun conjoined to Eros even makes her hypersexual. And she said that when she was about, I think, 9 years old, wait a minute, let me see if she got any. Her grandmother told her about masturbation. Damn, and she got Mercury at the 9th degree of Virgo. Wow. Yeah. And she said she was happy. She basically explained it that her grandmother wanted her to be empowered in that respect and let her know that I'm not going to say it's rare. Virgos actually can have a strong appetite for sex because Virgos, they're about ritual and routine, and once they get into a certain routine, it's like they might need sex like they need food. Like I was with a Virgo that was like, I swear he had a sex addiction. And that gets old after a while. It really does. So sun conjoined to Pluto. So what I was saying is that represents her sex addiction. I was talking about the masturbation. Like she said her grandmother, when she was 9 years old, taught her how to masturbate or told her about masturbation, basically to empower her to so that she would know that she could pleasure herself or whatever like that. So, and Jada said this in front of Willow, and Willow was all cringing, like she didn't want to hear it. So Jada be saying some really cringeworthy stuff in front of her kids on that show. So some people were like, oh, why did she say that and stuff like that? So this is one of the reasons why her sun is conjoined to Eros and Pluto. Now, about her children. So the sun represents your children. So with her sun being conjoined to Pluto, that deals with Jada wanting her children to be empowered from a very early age, which is what she did. So also where she wanted them to be in control of their own lives, in control of their destiny and stuff. Now her sun is in sesqui square to her Mars and North Node in Aquarius. And that right there deals with her being too liberal with Willow and Jaden. But I see why. You know why? Because like I said, that sun conjoined to Pluto can make her a control freak, right? So with the sun representing her children, she could be a serious control freak with Willow and Jaden, which is why she'd rather take a hands-off approach than be too consumed with the lives of her children, where her children are no longer themselves anymore. So this sun sesqui square Mars and North Node in Aquarius, that points to her being very liberal with her children, being very liberal. Hey, Phyllis, being very liberal as a parent, basically allowing them to do whatever they want. She even allowed Jaden to move out at age 15. He came back home, but basically she said he came to her one day. He was like, I can't take it here. He was like, I can't. He was like, I feel like I can't live here. Even though they got a 27,000 square foot mansion, Jaden needed some space, which can show you how strong that sun conjoined to Pluto aspect is. So even though Jada Pinkett takes a hands-off approach with respect to parenting, and it's good, like I feel like this is for the children's own good, because she has a tendency to go too far with her controlling ways. But her sun conjoined to Pluto, she don't even have to say a word to those children. Her influence alone, her energy alone in that house, it don't matter that it's 27,000 square feet. A person that got sun conjoined to Pluto, you're going to feel their energy. And you're going to, they're going to have an effect on you. So that's why, she takes, she kind of falls back with respect to her influence upon her children, because she knows she could go too far and she could end up becoming obsessed, and that's not good for her health and all that. Also, about her Mars, deals with will, because the sun again represents her husband. So this deals with Will's sexuality and how she basically deals with that. And her north node's in Aquarius, south node's in Leo. I call that the gay lunar nodal axis. If you see my other videos, so she has it. And just sexuality is a big, but so is being tolerant of different types of sexuality. So her that Sun, Sesame Square, Mars, and North Node in Aquarius, that could deal with her being with a man that, you know, he might like to be with men sometimes. Also, that fosters the open marriage that they have. Now her moon is in Virgo, so that makes her a super Virgo because she got her Sun, Mercury, Pluto, and yeah, Sun, Mercury, Pluto, and moon in Virgo. And that denotes a close relationship with her mother because her moon is conjoined to Mercury. And her mother was a nurse, which speaks to that moon in Virgo. But back to her Mars conjoined to North Node. That does make her bisexual. And they're both at the 12th degree. And Jada Pinkett has a strong 12 signature in her chart. So let me just break it down, all the 12 she got in her chart. She got both Mars and the North Node at the 12th degree. She got her Chiron at the 12th degree. She got her Uranus at the 12th degree. So she got strong 12 energy. That 12 is about sacrifice and victimization, but it can also lead to excess. So again, she has an excessive personality, and sometimes she could take things too far. Now, her Mars conjoined to North Node in Aquarius also speaks to her being bisexual. And also with that 12 signature in her chart, I'm thinking something significant happened to her at age 12. I don't know if anybody has heard anything about her background. I went to Wikipedia, but they didn't have much information about her background. But let me know if you heard about something that happened to her at age 12. Also, let me see. So to add, to reinforce the bisexuality, her Uranus is a planet that rules homosexuality, is conjoined to the asteroid Sappho. The asteroid Sappho represents same-sex unions. It represents homosexuality, bisexuality. So Uranus is conjoined to Sappho, and that can represent a lesbian relationship that she has with a friend or maybe one or two friends. But it can also speak to the situation involving Will, because her Uranus is in a partile trine. Like I said, her Uranus is at the 12th degree. And so is Mars and the North Node. So her Uranus is in Libra, and it's in trine to Mars and the North Node. And that reinforces her being tolerant of men who are bisexual or straight up gay. It also points to her being in an open relationship. Her just being very liberal, being very tolerant. And she is, someone says she's an extreme feminist. Akeda says that. Yes, she is. This is one of the aspects that points to her being a very strong feminist. Like, she's an ultra feminist, but it also points to her being an activist. So that explains why at the Academy Awards that year, she made a big stink about, I think it was about Black actors or something like that. And I think she wanted to boycott the Academy Awards. I think she didn't go, her and Will. So that points to that. The Mars conjoined to North Node in Aquarius, but also being enshrined to Uranus. So she's a big time activist. Now, also, her Sappho is opposed to Chiron and Aries because she got Uranus opposed to Chiron and Aries. They're both at the 12th degree. And then she has Sappho opposing Chiron, and it's conjoined to Uranus. And that right there, that can point to, again, a lesbian relationship that she was in. But then it can also point to maybe at some point during her early life, maybe during her preteen, teenage years, or maybe at the age of 12, maybe a friend took advantage of her sexually. That's what I'm thinking, because Chiron is in Aries, and Chiron can deal with wounds that are inflicted upon you. And with Chiron and Aries, that could deal with sexual wounds. Now, Quentin said, how do you learn astro? Well, you can either learn on your own by getting a lot of books and stuff and looking at videos on YouTube and stuff, or you could take my classes. So let me know if you, I posted my website up there. I'll post it again in a minute if you would look, like information about my classes. But she's extremely liberal. I think I already said that. Let me see what else. Oh, check this out. I thought this was very interesting. Her and Tupac have the same conjunction. Tupac had Mars conjoined to the North Node in Aquarius. Jada has Mars conjoined to the North Node in Aquarius. And you know that they were very good friends. They went to the same high school together, the Baltimore School of Arts. So the interesting thing is Tupac's Venus is conjoined to Jada's Saturn. So that also supports the strong friendship that they have. But she donated $1 million to the Baltimore School of Arts in honor of Tupac. So that speaks of that aspect right there. So I just thought that that was nice. And now the interesting thing, going back to that Uranus opposition Chiron and Aries, especially when you take into account that Uranus is conjoined to Sappho, when she first moved out to LA, she was living with a stunt woman who is still her friend to this day. So I'm thinking that she was probably in a relationship, lesbian relationship with this stunt woman. Oh, thank you, Jules. All right. So let me see. Her Venus is conjoined to Pluto, and that points to polyamory and her open marriage, especially with Pluto being at the 29th degree of Virgo, because that 29th degree produces love triangles. It also produces interference from a third party. And that could have been like back in the day when Will and Jada first got married. Jada and Will Smith's ex-wife, they had a little beef. I forgot to mention with Jada's son conjoined to Pluto, that makes her, that could deal with having a stepchild. And she does have a stepson, which is Trey, Will Smith's first son. So I also found that out, that her and Will Smith's ex-wife, is her name Cherie or something? They got into it one time on the phone, but then they pieced things up. So now they're like real chill with each other. Now that Venus conjoined to Pluto can deal with you getting into heated situations with other women. Also, while she's in an open marriage, while she's about polyamory, she still has the tendency to be jealous. So that can speak to, you can either do the super chat, Taz Babe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. Or here's my website. Just click order a reading at the top to see a list of my readings. But you could do a super chat and donate at least $5, and I'll get to your reading once I get through Jada's chart. I don't have much longer to go. But so with Pluto at the 29th degree of Virgo, conjoined to her sun, and then she has her Leo South Node, and then she has Venus conjoined to Pluto, she really doesn't have any choice in the matter but to be in an open relationship. She really doesn't have any choice, because basically that South Node in Leo means that she got heavy karma dealing with men, dealing with love, dealing with romance. And it's going to be very hard for her to be in a monogamous transitional relationship, especially with a man. Like, she would do much better probably with a woman. But she, you know, I'm thinking actually with Venus conjoined to Pluto and the fact that the sun is in the mix, I would think that they both, her and Will, they always have someone on the side. She probably has her girlfriend on the side always, and he probably has his girlfriend and whoever else he's dealing with on the side, because I think Will Smith is just straight up bisexual. Like, he gets down with both men and women. Let me see. Oh yeah, so I saw this other video by this chick, Unwind something. She's real loudmouth, but she got a lot of subscribers, and she's always talking about celebrity news. But her name is Unwind something, and she's always drinking wine. But she was talking about, she don't like Jada. She was going in on her, and she was talking about how Will Smith has this chick named Heidi De La Rosa that he is always with now. And basically, I think she was also saying that Will and Jada are basically divorced, but they're still together. But Will, yes, Unwind with Tasha K. Yes, Tasha K. So, yeah, I watch her sometimes, but sometimes she's so loud. I'd be like, ooh, like, tone it down a little bit. But she's funny. But yeah, did you see that video she did with Jada, on Jada? She was going in on Jada, and she brought up the Gabrielle Union beat and all that. So Jada and Gabrielle Union had beef back in the day, supposedly because when Gabrielle Union was filming Bad Boys 2 with Will Smith, Gabrielle Union, of course, she had to kiss Will Smith, and maybe it was rumored that Will and Gabrielle, I'm sure Will hit that, and Tasha K was saying that Gabrielle Union is known to be a home wrecker. Like, it's known. I didn't know this about Gabrielle Union, but basically, oh, Deandra says she's too loud to me too. Yeah, she's way too loud. Right? She needs to tone it down. But I think it's all that wine she be drinking. But anyway, what was I saying? Damn, what was I saying? Oh, about Gabrielle Union. She said turn down your volume. About Gabrielle Union. So Gabrielle Union and Jada had beef back in the day because of Will Smith and all that stuff. But yeah, I think basically Will Smith gets to do whatever he wants. Will is building most of the power in this marriage because Jada's son is conjoined to Pluto. But Jada still, you know, I feel like Jada can still do what she wants to. But I feel like Jada can still get jealous at times. Now, Jada also had that Venus conjoined to Pluto is one of the millionaire aspects. So it speaks to her being a millionaire, especially through marriage or an inheritance. But in Jada's case, of course, it's marriage. And then also this conjunction explains her philanthropy. So she's a philanthropist. Her and Will have created this charitable foundation. I forget what it's called, but she's like giving back in a number of ways. That's one of the ways where she is very admirable. Also, she has Venus trine Saturn, and that promotes longevity in terms of marriage. Also explains why her marriage to Will lasted as long as it did. And also, even though they might be divorced on paper, I heard that they're still basically staying together. And that points to that Venus trine Saturn because it's an air trine. And those air trines like that can produce a situation like that where, like a Venus trine Saturn, her Venus is in Libra, her Saturn is in Gemini. That can produce a marriage where you do get divorced together. So it's like we're still gonna. It's like you could get divorced, but it could be an amicable. I can't pronounce that word. Forget it. It could be a peaceful, beneficial divorce, and where they can still be civil. Yeah, she got that tight face. That's that Sun conjoined to Pluto. Venus conjoined to Pluto. That's that. See, that Pluto influence in her chart also deals with the plastic surgery, the Botox, all that. Yes. And again, that points to her being a control freak. I think I will hustle. I think I'm going to start doing them every Saturday. Some Saturdays I won't be able to do. But I don't have a social life. So this is like my social life right here. She does have that tight, hard face. Look like she could cut paper. All right. So Venus trine Saturn, good for being in business with your spouse. Also, she has, all right, I mentioned that. So again, going back to that Uranus opposition Chiron, that makes it hard for her to be in a monogamous relationship. So again, going back to her Venus conjoined to Pluto, her Sun conjoined to Pluto, the fact she got that Leo South node, and then adding the fact Uranus in Libra opposition Chiron and Aries, that is not a good recipe for a monogamous relationship. So basically, she's doing what comes naturally. Yeah, she really doesn't need any plastic surgery. Now, some interesting facts about Jada that I learned recently. I learned that she has alopecia. Alopecia is when you're losing your hair. So you might have seen some pictures of Jada or some videos of her wearing like a head wrap. Sometimes she has a turban on. And she got the type of face shape where she can rock it, like she can pull it off. You know how some women, they could just pull off those head wraps and they can look all regal and royal. So yeah, she could pull that off. And that points to what I feel like her rising sign is. I think she might be a Scorpio rising, y'all. And that would speak to several factors in her chart. Because number one, that would reinforce the hypersexual theme, her being a sex addict. It would also reinforce her being a control freak. And that would put Mars in her North Node in Aquarius in her third house. And that can deal with her going to a special school. She attended the Baltimore School of Arts. Now, if I'm right with my estimation, that would put Saturn and Gemini in her 7th house. Gemini deals with schools. Saturn and Gemini could deal with like a professional type of school where it's like really going to help propel you into your career path. And the fact that Saturn and Gemini is in the 7th, that can deal with going to a school of performing arts or a school of arts. Like I said, Tupac has Mars. This is the interesting thing. Tupac has Mars in Aquarius conjoined to his North Node in Aquarius, and so does Jada. Now, another thing, interesting fact I learned about Jada is that her mother named her after a soap opera star. And that had me thinking about her Mars in Aquarius conjoined to the North Node, because the North Node could deal with other people. And Aquarius could deal with someone that you're following, someone you're, fanning or whatever like that. And then Tupac was named after that warrior. Wasn't it like an Aztec warrior, Tupac Amaru or whatever like that? So both of them were named after famous people, or both of them were named after some type of personality. And that could deal with the Mars in Aquarius conjoined to the North Node. So I just thought that was really interesting. And then what else was I going to say? Another interesting thing. So she mentioned being a sex addict. She also mentioned being that she was addicted to working out at one point, and that points to the Sun conjoined to Pluto. And then that can also reinforce the Scorpio rising. And then let me see, what else did she say? Damn, where is it? Oh. Back to the you're sipping on whiskey. Oh, whiskey. What kind of whiskey? Southern Comfort? Or are you sipping on that what is that? I don't drink whiskey, so I'm not up on that. Cherry Lev said, I'm a control freak too, but thank God not a sex addict. I could see the attraction to Tupac though. Henry said, I love whiskey. NYC Black Honey said, I named my daughter after the singer Sade. That's pretty. Now, did you know about Sade's daughter? That her daughter is now her son? Did you know about that? So another thing she said she was addicted to working out. That deals with her Sun conjoined to Pluto. She also said that she's a binger. So she binges. So I should do a live reading on Sade's chart and see where her daughter comes in, because her daughter is transgender. She's female to male transgender. I forget her daughter's name though, but she said she's a binger, and that deals with her Venus conjoined to Pluto. Also, Pluto's influence upon her Sun. But she also said, she could quit cold turkey. I love Sade too. But she also said she could quit cold turkey. And again, that's that Pluto influence. But that can also reinforce what I said about her perhaps being a Scorpio rising. Hey, Hood Astro Queen. I'm going to have to add some more lipstick. My lips are getting dry. Excuse me. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Okay. Where am I at? Okay, this is another thing she said that was kind of cringy. Okay, so she recently on that Red Table. Oh, and that Red Table show, that is dealing with Mars in Aquarius, conjoined to the North Node in Aquarius, because Mars deals with red. And that show is on Facebook. I think it's live streamed on Facebook or whatever like that. Aquarius deals with the internet, social media, all that stuff. Did I get lipstick on my face? Hold on. That's just a dark mark. Damn. These Keone, I'm gonna have to put some more shea butter on my face. My daughter told me that shea butter helps with dark marks, and she's right, because my dark marks have been lightening up. But Neptune in the 1st house. If I'm right about her proposed birth time, which I would believe is around like 11:45 a.m. That would put Neptune in her 1st house, and that could deal with her hair wearing the head wraps. Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes. Now, this is interesting. So And some of you guys might know this. So Jada Pinkett first met Will Smith on the set of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And that was because she was auditioning for the part of Lena. I think that was her name, Will Smith's girlfriend. But the part went to, thank you, Nika. You could post your question. Thank you, Will. You guys can post your questions with the part on the super chat readings, which I'm going to get to in a minute. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So she was going up against Nia Long for the role of Will Smith's girlfriend on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What is wrong with me? So the reason why Jada didn't get the role is because they said that Jada was too short. And that right there deals with Jada Pinkett's Neptune and Jupiter opposing her Saturn and Gemini. So that reinforces what I said about her perhaps being a Scorpio rising, because Neptune and Jupiter would be in her first house in Sagittarius. Now that could produce a tall person, not necessarily with the Neptune though, because that Neptune will counteract that Jupiter influence, and Neptune can produce a demure person, but it can produce a big person too. So Neptune could be either or. But because Neptune and Jupiter are opposing Saturn, Saturn will shorten people. Like, it will shorten things. Oh, thank you, Jules Verne. So you say you use lanolin? Yeah, I hate when your face turns shiny. I like shea butter because it absorbs right into your skin. Henry said, of all celeb birth charts, numerology charts you've read, who had the most challenging? Had a real challenging one. Do you mean like challenging in terms to read? Jada has a younger brother, I think. You mean challenging in terms to read, like to decipher, or challenging in terms of like they had a challenging life? Thank you, Deandra. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So that Saturn opposed to Jupiter and Neptune in Sagittarius can deal with her being very short in stature, and that working against her in Hollywood. So maybe that's why she hasn't gotten as many roles as she would like. The super chat, if you're asking about the super chat feature, it's a $ sign that's right next to the little emoji character or icon. Yeah, so that could deal with other people dwarfing her, literally, in the entertainment industry, in Hollywood, and you know that hurting her career to some extent. But she's had an extensive career, so she's done really well for herself. She has Venus sextile Jupiter and Neptune in Sagittarius. They're all at the 0 degree. So Venus is at the 0 degree of Libra. That's the Aries point of Libra, which can point to fated circumstances involving women or relationships. Usually that happens at an early point in your life. So I'm wondering what happened with her with that. And then Jupiter and Neptune are at the 0 degree of Sagittarius. Now that represents that Wicked Wisdom metal band that she was in. Remember, she was in that metal band Wicked Wisdom, and everybody was scratching their head like, where'd that come from? Well, it's all up in her chart. She is just very alternative. She's just very experimental. That Mars conjoined to the North Node in Aquarius means that in this lifetime, she needs to be experimental. She needs to basically be very much about trying to see what works for her. And if it doesn't, she goes on to something else. It's also about her being very, it's also about being, she giving shea butter tips in the comments. That's so sweet. It's also about walking to the beat of your own drum. Again, like I said, being alternative. So that fits perfectly with the whole Wicked Wisdom. But the Wicked Wisdom aspect is Jupiter and Sagittarius conjoined to Neptune and Sagittarius, because that's like rock music. Because Jupiter and Sagittarius, I always say that's the rock star right there. Sextile, her Venus in Libra, that's that Wicked Wisdom band all day. So I think that's it for Jada. Let me look and see if I missed some of her. She has a lot of asteroids and stuff, but I'm not going to get all into it. She has Mars conjoined to Arachne. The North Node's conjoined to Arachne. That right there, the first thing I think about with that is group sex. her having those sex parties, orgies, stuff like that. Also, Sun conjoined to Eros can point to Will Smith too. Will Smith being hypersexual. Let me see what else she has. Her moon is opposed to Diana. This is interesting, y'all, because you know what? Her mother, thank you, Marshall. Her mother had an issue with drugs and alcohol when Jada was young. And the asteroid Diana, yes. So maybe she is up on her chart. I would think that Jada, you know, is up on her chart and knows her chart. But yeah, Arachne is a web, but it can also point to you weaving a web of the sea, or it could just be you have a web of people around you. So that's why I brought up orgies, because Aquarius deals with groups, Mars deals with sex. Thank you, style and profiling. So what was I saying? Damn, what was I talking about? I think I forgot. It was something that I was saying. Oh yeah, something with her asteroid. Let me go back to it. Diana, that's what it was. I was talking about her mother. So her mother had an issue with drugs and alcohol when Jada was, you know, at an early age. And she said at times that Jada had to, you know, really look after her mother and stuff. So that moon opposition Diana could deal with, perhaps there was times where Jada had to go looking for her mother, or maybe Jada, hey, Dana. Dana's one of my students. And she's a really good student, by the way. She's about to be one of the realest astrologers too. So she's an up and coming astrologer. Dana, if you want, post your channel in the comments, because Dana has a new YouTube channel where she's posting astrology videos and stuff. So like I said, I'm her teacher, I'm her coach, I'm her mentor. So you know she's going to give you the real, because she's getting it from me. So definitely check her out, subscribe to her channel, all that good stuff. Now, oh, didn't you have a performance last night? Dana's also, oh, you're welcome. Dana's also a very good singer too. So she has some songs out too. So I'm just so proud of her. So like I said, that Diana could deal with where you're hunting for something or someone. So I'm thinking that the hunter could deal with basically Jada looking for her mother at times. But they have a very close relationship despite the drugs and alcohol problem back in the day. Jada has her Juno. It's conjoined to Mercury. And that right there can point to a relationship or a marriage where there's no monogamy, where it's basically, you know, you have two people that you're in a committed relationship with, not just one. But it can also point to, because Mercury's in Virgo, one of the main problems is criticism. She might be very critical of her partner, or she maybe Will's very critical of her. It can also deal with issues with helping each other out, all of that stuff. And also issues with maybe they can't nail down a routine, because, you know, Will is always on travel. He's, you know, always making movies. Jada got her projects going on and all that stuff. But it can also deal with the media, because Mercury rules the media. So it could deal with them being criticized in the media about their marriage. Like I said, there was always these rumors ever since they got married, just about, that they were in an open marriage. And, you know, sometimes it works for people. Sometimes that works better for some people than it does than a normal traditional relationship. I have one particular client. She's also a student of mine, and she's in an open marriage, and it really works for her, and it shows in her chart. Some people are just good at that. To get the super chat reading, just post a question and your date of birth, and you can post where you were born, city and state, and the time that you were born. All right, so where am I at? So let me see what other asteroids I could touch on with her. But all in all, I feel like I said, I feel like I'm split down the middle with Jada. I feel like Jada does have some dark-sided Virgo traits, mainly because she could be very neurotic. She has the OCD tendencies, as evidenced by Sun conjoined to Pluto. But I honestly feel like Jada does the best that she can. I don't feel like she is evil or wicked or anything like that. I don't feel like she's a bad person. I feel like she has shortcomings like we all do. I feel like she is a bit too liberal with her children, as evidenced by Sun and Sesame Square to her Mars and North Node. But like I said, I feel like she does the best that she can. And with her Mars in Aquarius conjoined to her North Node and her Sun conjoined to Pluto, Jada really, it probably took a long time for Jada. Oh, I'm sorry, Henry. Yeah, I didn't know it was that bad. Yeah, I'm gonna have to work it out. I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to get better Wi-Fi signal. But I feel like she's dealt with a lot of personal demons over the years, and I feel like she's working it out. And I feel like for a long time she didn't know who she was, because somebody with Mars and Aquarius alone, they may not know exactly who they are, and they might need other people to define them. They might need friends to define them. So with her Mars conjoined to her Node, it's like she has to experiment. She has to basically find herself by experimenting, by, you know, testing different waters and all that stuff. With Sun conjoined to Pluto, a lot of times that person doesn't really know who they are, because they can be very changeable. One minute they can have this desire, but then the next minute they can have this desire. One minute they could be like intensely into someone, and then the next minute they could basically hate their guts. And I'm sure she experiences that. Thank you, Hood Astro Queen. I'm gonna get to the super chat readings in a minute. I should be writing these down to keep track, but I can always scroll up. But like I said, I think that she's dealing with some personal demons, and that contributes to the sex addiction. That contributes to her working out excessively. Like I said, she has a bunch of 12s in her chart, and she's at 18. So the whole excess, coupled with the controlling factor and the conflict between the spiritual and material values. Like I said, when you take all that into account and that heavy energy she's working with in her chart, I think she does rather well. I think she tries to really keep it together. But like I said, I think she might do damage to her children in the fact that she doesn't really play that motherly role like she really could, where she could be more of a, because I'll say this, with that Mars and Aquarius conjoined to her North Node, being in Sesame Square to her Sun, she's often too honest with her children. And like like I said, some of the stuff she was talking about with her children, especially dealing with her personal life, her personal sex life, she was discussing personal details about her sex life in front of Willow. And Willow, you could tell Willow was very uncomfortable, and she was rolling her eyes and she was cringing. And both of her children, both Will and Jada's children, I think they are very beautiful. And I feel sorry for the both of them. I feel sorry that they had to grow up being ultra rich and ultra famous and living in a 27,000 square foot home. Some people might look at that as a blessing, but I kind of look at that as a curse, because your life's not normal from day one. And it's like you can't relate to the average person. So I feel sorry for those kids. And I have a real soft spot for Jaden, because he kind of reminds me of my son a little bit, just the way he looked. But I have a soft spot for Jaden. And Willow is absolutely gorgeous. And I think she should just be a model and be done with that. But there's been speculation that both of her kids are gay, but that would make sense with Mars in Aquarius conjoined to the North Node and Sesame Square to her Sun. But I would say that if they are, that would very much be Will and Jada's direct influence, because of their lifestyle and how they're just very open and tolerant about, you know, different forms of sexuality and stuff like that. And, you know, to each his own. You know, some parents are just very open with their children in that way. I don't necessarily agree with it, but like I said, that's them. But like I said, after looking at some of the interviews with Jada and looking at some of the Red Table clips, I started to really have more of a sensitivity towards Jada. I'll say that. And once I started looking at her chart and seeing the energy that she's working with and seeing that she's the real deal in terms of how she lives her life, I was like, and she's helped a lot of people. She's helped August Alsina because he was addicted to pills and stuff. So, you know, she was in his corner with that, and she really helped him out. And she was basically playing the role of life coach towards him. So she's helped out, you know, people. She's a really good friend to people and stuff like that. But I just think that she could just be a little too liberal at times, and that might be. So that's Jada. Let me know what you think. Before I get into these super chat readings, I'm going to just scroll up and look at some of these comments about Jada. Someone said Jaden is conscious, though, kind of conscious, though. He tries to be. He really does. But I think sometimes he's a little misguided. Let me see. Is Jada only child? I mentioned that she has a younger brother, I believe. Yes, Jada's mother is very gorgeous. Yeah, the drugs and alcohol didn't do much. And that points to Jada's moon being in Virgo. So that can point to a mother that looks very youthful, a mother that still got it. I feel like Jada looks older than her mother. I wish I was addicted to working out too. NYC Black Honey said, try the lipstick. My two-faced evil twin. I love it. You know what? That sounds like my Mars and Gemini. Where's my pen so I can write this down? I'm gonna type it on a sticky note. It's called who is that by? My two-faced evil twin. Because I love lipstick. Lipstick colors. Those are and eyeliner. Those are must for me. Everything else, it's a toss-up. Okay. Oh, matte. Oh, you matte lipstick. Like matte where it's not shine. Okay. Whenever you get some time, can you give your thoughts on Mars at the 29th degree in the sign of Scorpio? That right there, that could be challenging because if you're straight and you're going after men, that can produce situations where you get with men that can't be faithful, that they're always in some type of love triangle, and they can have serious issues with their mama. Most likely they will. They can have intense hatred towards their mom. I see. But they can have intense hatred for women too. Like a Mars at the 29th degree of Scorpio in relation to men, because you got to look at Mars in terms of the type of men you can attract. You could look at the sun the same way. So Mars at the 29th degree of Scorpio, if you meet a guy with Mars at the 29th degree of Scorpio, I would be very cautious. Since you have Mars at the 29th degree, well, I don't know if you have Mars at the 29th degree of Scorpio, so I'm just going to talk in general. If you're a woman and you have Mars at the 29th degree of Scorpio and you're straight, so that means you're going after men, you could be attracting the worst kind of men. I'm talking about men that are abusive, men that have serious obsessive issues, men that will stalk you, men that will be big-time cheaters, men that will exploit you, men that will be parasites, psychic vampires, criminals, living foul, women beaters. They hate their mother, but they have a codependent relationship with their mother, or a twisted relationship, like he's 30 years old and he's still sleeping in the bed with his mom, shit like that. So yeah, be careful. All right. It's the ultimate in either sexual obsessiveness or control. Get a reading or learn the art. Mine is at the 29th degree of Sag. So interesting. Yeah, that 29th degree is something else. And Jada has her Pluto at the 29th degree. Like I was saying, that 29 produces love triangles. But it also that 29 produces so many crazy things. That's why I call it the pressure cooker number. But it will produce love triangles. It often produces interference from a third party. It often produces situations with food. So a person could have a planet at the 29th degree, especially if it's the moon or Venus, they could have an eating disorder. I've seen a lot of obese people have heavy 29 energy, whether they're born on the 29th or they got 29 degree planets, or their ascendant is at the 29th degree. I've seen people suffer head injuries with that 29th degree. I've seen people having house fires with that 29th degree. It's just terrible. It's terrible. but it can make the person be very, like, when it comes to them trying to accomplish something, their self-determination could be die hard. Henry said all that orgy stuff creeps me the hell out. You know what? It kind of creeps me out too. Because I'm kind of like I got Virgo intercepted in my 8th house. So I'm not too keen upon like swapping all them germs and all that stuff between multiple people and all that. I like when I think about orgies and group sex and all that stuff, the first thing I think about is STDs. The second thing I think about is all the funky smells. I'm a realist. And you can't tell me if you got more than 4 people up in that, up in the mix, especially when it becomes more than 4, and you got body slapping and ass cheeks all open and shit. You can't tell me you ain't going to be smelling all types of funky smells all up in there. And so all this stuff about orgies and stuff, they be trying to act like it's all glamorous, all this eyes wide shut. Come on, you know, be smelling like a straight funk box up there. All right. Anybody into orgies, by the way? I mean, I know I was talking shit about that, but it's just not my thing. Okay, let me see who else is saying. Cherry Love said, I wonder about another Virgo too, Taraji P. Henson. Yeah, I'll probably do her chart one day. Henry said, Jaden gets so much flack and criticism, but I like his vibe. I kind of like Jaden too. Like, he's kind of weird. He's kind of out there, but he seems like a sweet guy. And then when I was looking at Willow's the one I would really worry about because she's a Scorpio. What's Jaden? A Libra? I forgot what Jaden is. I know Willow's a Scorpio, and Willow definitely has those Scorpio eyes. Willow looks like she will kill you. Like Willow looks sweet, and she seemed like, because when I was looking at her on the red table, she seems sweet and all, but you know, don't let that sweetness with Scorpios fool you. Like, Willow looks like she will bring it to you. But yeah, I feel like Willow is the one that Jada is going to really have to worry about. Let me see. Oh, Jules Verne said, oh, okay, we got an orgy lover up in here. Jules Verne said 29 degrees Capricorn Sun, 29 degrees Sag Mars, 27 degrees Aries Moon. Ha, 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 ha. I love the orgy. Oh, she said, just kidding, just kidding. Oh, I actually, I'm trying to think. Do I have any clients that get down like that? Yes, her eyes are intense. Yeah, she was born on Halloween. She sure was. Yup. Somebody wants me to do Lennox Lewis chart. You know what? I like doing the charts of athletes. Right? NYC Black Honey Funky Smell Body Slapping. But Dussy dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it real talk. Whenever you got more than, like I said, I think 4 is the danger zone. Sometimes when you got 2 people, come on now, somebody really did, like, that's why I'm like, again, I got Virgo intercepted in the 8th house. You're not just going to grab me after I've been at work all day and think you're going to get busy with me. I'm getting in the shower. I'm freshening up, all that stuff. But some people don't mind. But like I said, if you got 4 or more people, you know somebody didn't wash their ass right. Lucky said, I'm into threesomes. Hey, Lucky. And I'm glad you joined us. Yeah, Lucky, spill your tea, because I wanna know how many threesomes and how much on a regular. Like, is that something that is just on special occasions? Do you do it just like maybe once on every blue moon? Do you do it every month on a weekends? How you get down? Yes, thank you, Lucky. Thank you for the super chat. I'll do your reading in a minute. I'm about to get to the super chat readings. Yeah, but Lucky, like, oh, so he's done it twice. You won't do it all the time, but you had a good time? Cherry Love said she was with a foul breath Taurus. So you know what I'm saying about them foul breath Taurus? Y'all, they could be fine as what? Chardonnay wine, I guess. But that breath, oh, that's why they look so good, because the good looks got to counteract that breath. Lucky had fun. I did Left Eye's chart briefly when I did my Ace of Cups radio show, so I could do her chart again one day. Super chat, just look and see, you know, where you could type in a comment. There should be a little smiley face emoticon and a $ right next to it. But you have to have like a PayPal account linked up to it or something like that. All right, so let me get to these readings because I got things to do, so I'm not going to keep y'all too long. But I've been having fun so far. Wait a minute, somebody said something about Hurricane Katrina. Oh, I got a story about that because I was watching a video. When I'm doing work, I'm always watching the YouTube videos. So Henry said, Hurricane Katrina, one of the most deadly and destructive hurricanes on record, hit on the 29th. Oh, I didn't realize that. Thank you. That's good information. That's good research. So you see what I mean about 29? Now, during Hurricane Katrina, you know, no, it wasn't it was some like natural disaster or something. You know how they have to evacuate people and people will be like in a under like a they're like all in a facility, like in a gym or something, and there's a bunch of cots. Well, on YouTube, matter of fact, it's what's his face? Trey. Does anybody watch Trey? Know the Ledge. I love Know the Ledge. He is so funny, light-skinned dude. Please tell me somebody else watches Trey. But he's always coming with videos on some of the most ratchet news stories. So Style and Profile, you watch Trey too, Know the Ledge? News story about this couple. They were getting busy in this shelter for people that were like in a hurricane. Yes, he is a sweet guy. He is so nice. They were in a hurricane and they were getting busy under this blanket, and this guy was filming them on his cell phone. And Trey was saying, come on, you know, they've got all types of smells. And the guy that was filming it, he did say he could smell it. And I was like, oh, that is just so disrespectful. That is just so rude. Like, if you can't control yourself, if you can't wait, now that's a sex addiction right there. If you can't wait until you get to a private place and you getting busy in a room full of people in a shelter with everybody trying to sleep, there's kids around. I'm like, that is just nasty. Oh, thank you, Miko. Oh, thank you. You saw that too? Wasn't that? And didn't the guy have some hat on? Harry said, I'd be too terrified of my home getting destroyed to get down. Right? Yeah, during a hurricane, I'm not even going to be thinking about getting busy. Hey, Adrian, I'm glad you joined us. Yes, you are the Hurricane Katrina expert. Adrian is a Hurricane Katrina survivor, y'all. So she deserves a shout out for that because, man, matter of fact, Adrian, you know, I saw when the levees broke. Remember Spike Lee put out that documentary? I didn't see the whole thing, but it was like around the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. I watched it, and that was. I didn't realize how bad it was down there. I mean, I remember how bad it was because I remember seeing the footage, but seeing that documentary and hearing what people had to go through, it was breaking my heart. I was like, wow. And just seeing people making makeshift boats just so that they could get from one place to another. And how about that part where there was all those people standing on a bridge and they were trying to get over to the next town? The cops were preventing them from getting over to the next town. They had guns, they had rifles, and they were preventing people from going over to the next town to be safe. Yo, Hurricane Katrina, and people were talking about how they blew up those levees, which I believe because people were talking about they heard explosions. But let me get to these super chat readings because I could talk forever. But yeah, that Hurricane Katrina was something else. Now, what about this hurricane now, Hurricane Florence? Is anybody being affected? Desiree, you're in North Carolina. Did that hurricane affect you? Did it affect your area? Who's in the East Coast area, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, wherever that Florence hit? So it wasn't too bad, Lala? Okay, so it's not too bad. That's very good. I'm glad. Yeah, because I heard Virginia. Yeah. All right, I'm glad. Because they were basically hyping it up. It hit New Jersey, too. They were hyping it up like it was going to be something crazy. I was on the edge, too. I was like, oh, shoot. But I had a feeling, because I was like, maybe I did kind of had a feeling that they were hyping it up a little bit too much, because the guy, the FEMA spokesperson, he even said, what did he say? He was like, this is going to be destructive or something. And I was like, oh, it was almost like they wanted it to be. So it was crazy at first. So the power just kept going in and out. All the rain. See, this is one of the reasons why I moved to Arizona, because I'm not too keen on natural disasters. I have bad anxiety. And when it was snow, when I lived in Jersey and Philly, even when it was snow, my anxiety would go through the roof, because I would hate driving in snow. I don't even like driving when it rains. When it rains here, I think about it before I go out. I'd be like, do I really want to drive in the rain? Because I've been in enough car accidents and I've been in car accidents when it's been snowing. One time it was a blizzard. I told this story before. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but one time, one of the windshield wiper on the driver's side broke off of my car during a blizzard. I was driving from my sister's house. So I was stranded on the road. I had to go to a stranger's house. Another time my car broke down when I was on the Ben Franklin Bridge coming from Philly to Jersey. That was scary. And then one time when it started snowing, this guy slammed on his brakes and I crashed and totaled my car. So I don't mess around with inclement weather. I don't mess around. Henry said, I have anxiety. Yeah, we hate being stuck. I have anxiety to do with natural disasters. Thunderstorms used to scare me to death as a child. Me too, Henry. Snow doesn't scare me, though. I love it. I would be terrified. I used to live in Philly for 6 years, Miko. Right before I moved to Arizona. I was born and raised in South Jersey, though. Yeah, it was meant for me to move to Arizona. Like, I will take the heat any day over snow and ice. Oh my God, is somebody knocking on my door? They better not be, because I'm not expecting nobody, but that just freaked me out. But now I'm speaking quiet because I'm paranoid. I'm like, who the hell is that? I hope nobody's knocking on my door. Now I'm all paranoid. Like, what? I heard a bang. Like, what the? It was 107 today. It didn't feel like it was 107. But yeah, I'll take the heat any day as opposed to the cold. I can't stand being cold. Okay, now let me stop yapping and get to these super chats. So whoever made a super chat, you could post your question now if you haven't already. I'm going to go to the first one that made the super chat. Wait a minute, are you trying to tell me? Oh, okay, I was about to say. Wait a minute, I can't scroll up anymore. Live chat. Oh, okay, I got to go to live chat. Okay, now I should be able to scroll up. Okay. Can I just click on? There should be something where I could just see participants, pop out chat. Hold on. For some reason, I can't scroll up. So whoever posted a super chat, post your question. You're going to have to post it again because for some reason, it's not letting me scroll all the way back up. But I see somebody, wait a minute, I think I can see Marshall's question. Thank you, Gemini. Wait a minute, I got to see how I can get the list of the super chats. Does anybody know? I'm still new at this. Love Moore said, I want a reading in person. Well, we'll come to Phoenix. I do in-person readings, but locally though. One of these days I want to do a tour. But that'll be probably when I get either when I write my book, one of my books, and when I get like 50,000 subscribers. There's some astrologers, I'm sure y'all have seen some of those more popular ones where they got like 500,000 subscribers. I can't even imagine being at that level. Yeah, I really should. I was thinking about that, Desiree, doing meetups. Henry said, I've often wondered about looking at a natal chart for extreme events like Katrina and see if there's anything interesting here. I don't think astrology is just for helping humans. Oh, no. You can pull a chart about anything, any events. You can even pull it for inanimate objects. Let's say that you bought a car and you wanted to know how that car was going to last, like if it was going to bring you problems. You want to buy me a plane ticket? We're in Europe. Oh man, that'd be dope. Doing a European tour, and then I do an African tour, then I do a Middle East tour, Australia. Oh, thank you, Styling Profiling. Yes, I'm on my way slowly but surely. I'm approaching 14,000 subscribers right now, which is still on the very low end, in my opinion. Oh, hell yeah, I'll go to Amsterdam. I'm coming. Oh yeah. And Amsterdam, I love the buildings in Amsterdam. Henry said I drive the people around me crazy. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't scroll up to see all the super chats. So whoever posted a super chat, please post your question. And before, just make sure you say you posted a super chat so I know. Okay, so Will Hustle, you posted a super chat. Will I get a chance down the road? I have Rabina do a natal chart for me. Now, Will, what's your question? Because I know you posted a super chat. Marshall, you posted a super chat. So post your 2 questions. And of course, I can't find my pen. Hold on. So I could write this down. Cyril, you was in a super chat. So post your question. Hold on. Before I could scroll all the way up. Now I can't. Let me see if I... See, this is why I'm going to need a moderator soon. And then that way I can have the moderator just keep track of all that. Question. Okay, Gemini. I think you were the first one to post a super chat. Oh, no, you were the last. My question is, I posted a super chat. Will I have a great year next year? Your birthday's 9/21. I'm going to look at your, do a tarot reading for that one real quick. Will Hustle said he forgot now. Lucky F Star said I posted a super chat. Do I have any degrees that I should be worried about? I want to see if I could copy these. Oh, yeah, I could copy these. So I'm going to copy so I won't lose them. So I'm going to copy yours. Okay, I got, so that's Lucky. Okay, who else? Marshall, you're 12/10/79. Let me just copy down your birth date. 10 is a very advantageous number, but you just got to watch the people you surround yourself with because the wrong people can really lead to your downfall. But I'll get to you in a minute. Okay, who else? Dimitri said I posted, but you'll wait. Oh, that's so nice of you. Nika, you also posted one. Hood Astro posted one. Let me copy yours. I need 2 screens. You ever have one of those jobs where they have you working so much where you got 2 computer screens? I've had a couple of jobs like that. Okay, Dimitri, let me copy. Damn, I wish I could find my pen right now. And I was supposed to. All right, let me copy down this. Copy. It is not easy keeping up with this chat. I'll tell you that. Okay, so let me just do, not Dimitri, Gemini's question. You wanted to know were you going to have a good year and you were born on 9/21. That 21 is a number of abundance, but it can also produce excessive behaviors, excessive tendencies where you feel like you can't get enough. So you say, are you going to have a good year? Now that's that could be left to up to interpretation, because it's like when you say good year, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Okay, so it looks like you're going to have a good year to me. So you got 6 of Swords. So this can mean that you start the year off where you are going to be going through, or you're going to be coming from a place of struggle, or where you're going to be leaving something behind. This is even a death card sometimes. Not saying that death is going to visit you, but this could just be a card where you're moving on from something. Challenge is holding on to the past. So there could be someone in your life that's still trying to get back with you. Could be an ex, or it could be someone who is just toxic in your life, who is a negative influence, but you might have a hard time letting go. So this card, 6 of Swords combined with 6 of Cups, this is your challenge, which is like someone from the past, or even just revisiting the past too much. This is the situation. So this is about moving on. But you can say that this is moving on to smoother waters. Like your life is going to improve. Or I'll say your situation. Maybe not your overall life. 8 of Wands. This is a card of improvement. This is a very positive card. This is a card of things working out, things panning out. Basically, it shows that what you put in the works can start to come to fruition. It's also a card of travel. So if you want to be traveling a lot in the next year, you definitely could do that. It's a card of progress. It's a card where basically you sow the seeds and you start getting a result. It's a results card. It's also a card that can point to you falling in love. So you might be falling in love too. Ace of Cups, that's another card of new relationships, new romance, just new connections, period. But then this can also deal with you revisiting a past relationship, you rekindling a past romance. But there's no negative cards in this deck. I mean, not deck, in this reading. So my final opinion is that you are going to have a really good year. Especially if you start putting things into action right now. Okay, so Hood Astro Queen said, I've been combating major anxiety, depression, and obsessive intrusive thoughts. Do you see any indicators of this in my chart? I'm going to have to go back and just 1 second. Oh, I already copied that down. Let me go up to your birthday. Oh, here's another one. I've been having such a hard time maintaining relationships, both intimate and friendships, and have major abandonment issues based off of my chart. What is your take on my life path? Post your birth information again. Because I don't see it. Let's see. Hood Astro Queen. Can you post your birth information again? Okay. Let me pull it. 11/28, 1991. Where were you born? Right. 2:40 a.m. East St. Louis. Oh, you were born in East St. Louis. Were you on the live show when I was talking about East St. Louis last time? And I told the story about how I ended up in East St. Louis. Oh, but this is East St. Louis, Illinois. But I was talking about East St. Louis, Missouri. Wait a minute. Did you put? Where's that? Yeah, Louis, Illinois. Somebody else was saying that, and I thought it was East St. Louis, Missouri, and I got it mixed up. And I was like, I didn't know that there was an East St. Louis, Illinois. Oh, I think I gotta spell Saint. But gotta spell it out. That's crazy. Okay, yeah, there it is. And then you said, oh God, where is 2:40 a.m. I'm gonna try to get quicker. I'm sorry. I just gotta go back and forth between these two screens. That's why I said I wish I had two monitors. Like some of them jobs be making you work on two monitors at work. They want you to be efficient. Okay. So here you go. So let me go back to your question. So you had two questions. Your first question is, let me see. Do you see any, wait a minute, I've been combating major anxiety, depression, and obsessive intrusive thoughts. Do you see any indicators of this in my chart? So you said major anxiety, depression, and obsessive. Oh, you're the 29th degree of Mars. You're Mars at the 29th degree. Conjoined to your sun, that right there can point to the obsessive, intrusive. Wait, did you say thoughts? Yeah. Let me see. And then you said the depression, that's your Capricorn energy. But then let me see where your Saturn's at. Your moon is in quincunx to Saturn. That's the depression right there. So yeah, you have a big time potential to fall into deep depression. So you have to do things to combat that, and exercise would be a good way to combat the depression. Do you work out, Hood Astro Queen? Hey, Gary. I'm glad you joined us. Okay. And then your other question was, so yes, you do have indicators of all of that in your chart, all of what you asked. But let me go to your other question. Oh, major anxiety. So let me tell you about the major anxiety. So where the anxiety is coming from, blah, 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 that would be your Mercury in sesqui square to your Chiron, because Chiron contacts, especially when it contacts Mercury, can produce anxiety, especially with your case, because your Mercury is in the third house. Mercury and Sagittarius in the third. So Mercury in the third is pretty good because that's like Mercury's natural home. But when you have Mercury and Sag in the third, that is like you're overthinking things. You might even feel like your intuition and have major abandonment issues. Based off of my chart, what is your take on my life path? So I've been having such a hard time maintaining relationships, intimate and friendships, and have major abandonment. So for abandonment issues, you always want to look at Neptune, and you want to see where Pisces falls in your chart. So abandonment issues, that's your Mars and semi-square to Neptune. That right there is going to make it hard for you to be in close, intimate relationships with men in particular. And then friendships even. Your Uranus is conjoined to your North Node in Capricorn. It's also conjoined to your Neptune. That right there, it helps to befriend people who are much older than you. Also, it helps to befriend people who are on the same professional track as you are. So you might easily make friends in the workplace. Basically, you need to have friends that serve some type of utility in your life. If they're not serving some type of utility, if they're not useful to you, there's no point in having them in your life. So you might not maintain friendships with people because they're not useful to you. See, that Capricorn energy is about utility. That's why that keyword is I use. But I like one time somebody was like, I don't, why does it have to say I use? Can it say something else? And I was like, there's nothing wrong with the word I use. I was like, it's a neutral word. But instead of saying I use, you could say I utilize. So if you have friends that aren't really adding value to your life, they're not really helping to propel you forward in life in some way, shape, or form, then there's no use having them anyway. And in this lifetime, you do have to spend a lot of time alone. You have to be comfortable with being alone. So that's why you have these issues with friendships and relationships, because you're not really supposed to be too clingy in like this lifetime. This deals with your Cancer South Node. So issue where you feel like they can't have that closeness with people, but you're really not supposed to be too close to anybody in this lifetime, really. The more close you are to people, the more disappointment you're going to face in life, and the more heartache and pain. So it's that's why you're going through this. Hopefully that helps. And let me see, but yeah, I think that was it with your question. Now, who else did I have? Lucky asked, Lucky, I'm gonna get to you real quick because Lucky said, do I have any degrees on my chart I should be worried about? Okay, that's a good one. Every time I think of your name, Lucky, I think of Poetic Justice. That movie with Janet Jackson, Tupac, because Tupac movie, and the way Janet Jackson would say, she was like, Lucky. I don't know. I'm just a big movie buff, but let me pull up your chart. Know who else was named Lucky? Remember that movie Paid in Full? And that's what the main character, that's what his mom called him. And remember, his mom called him Lucky, and he was like, Mom, don't call me Lucky no more. He was like, it's been a long time since I've been lucky or something. And she was like, but I never get that time you found that $50 bill or something on the street or something. You remember that movie Paid in Full? I love Paid in Full. Okay. All right. So I might watch Paid in Full tonight, shoot, when I get done. Okay. Where am I at? So Lucky, you want to know, do you have any degrees about that can produce situations where there's interference from a third party? It can produce problems with love triangles. Since we're talking about Taurus, it can produce issues with money. So it could be issues or challenges with your earning potential, with the way you make money, the manner in which you make money. So you might get a job at one point, but the job may not last long. You might get a well-paying job, and then you lose that job, and then you can't find another job that's comparable, that's going to pay what it's worth. But yeah, so that 29 Chiron at the 29th degree, that could be very challenging. It can also produce issues with your thyroid. It can make it easy for you to get throat infections. You might even choke on something one day if you're not careful. So that Chiron at the 29th degree of Taurus can be very challenging. Now, let me ask you this, Lucky. Do you have any scars on your neck? Either like on your neck or like right here on your upper shoulder, like right where your shoulder blade is, or anything like that? Scars or birthmarks? Yes, love more. Paid in Full is a hood classic. And Cameron, he played the shit out of that role. Cameron was over the top. Where you at, Lucky? From the way I see, your Chiron's at the 29th degree of Taurus. Unless I'm looking at the wrong chart. June 18th, 1983, right? Okay, so another challenging degree you have is that 26th degree, but it's not challenging only with respect to personal relationships. That's where it can be challenging, because that can cause you to attract opportunists, especially because your Pluto is conjoined to your Saturn. So you got Pluto at the 26th degree of Libra, conjoined to Saturn. It'll be very easy to attract partners or potential mates who are opportunists, who are looking to exploit you, who are only with you to see what you could do for them, or they might only be with you for the time being, and then you might get all serious, and then they could just basically discard you when they're done getting what they needed out of it. But that 26 degree is good for business. That's one of the things that it's good for. Hey, Carolyn, thank you for the super chat. And who was that just did a super chat? Wait a minute, let me see who else. Okay, where you at? Thank you, Janae. 9185. Let me copy that down. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you, Carolyn. I will get to the both of you guys in a minute. All right. Now I'm going to get to Dimitri. 96. So let me just pull your chart. So you're a sensitive Aries. So April 2nd, 1996. Montgomery, Alabama, 1:32 a.m. All right. So you wanted to know, let me read your question again. You wanted to know, would a career in media and healing be prosperous? Good question. So you said media and healing. Would you say that like combined or two separate career paths? Clarify that for me. If you're still, oh, there you are, Dimitri. So clarify that for me. Like a combination or two separate career paths. So you said, would a career in media and healing be prosperous? And let me just pull up your chart. Well, you do have a bunch of activity in your third house, and that deals with the media. And the interesting thing is you have Saturn at the 29th degree of Pisces in your third house, and that deals with healing. So maybe you will be doing a combination of both. Like you'll be putting on some type of health and wellness media program, perhaps. And it could be for men's health in particular because you got that stellium in Aries. So you got your Mars conjoined to the Sun, and then you got the Sun conjoined to Mercury. Mercury and Aries in the third, that reinforces the media. But again, if you want to go the media route, I think you definitely should go either in the area of sports, or maybe it could be, like I said, men's health in particular. And then, you could start online by creating a blog, creating a YouTube channel, and then creating a social media page. And then from there, start trying to connect with people that are actually in the media, things like that. Let me see. You got Gemini on your 6th house cusp. That is perfect for working within the media. So you're on the right track. You got your North Node in Libra in the 9th house, which could deal with you having a high profile career, or you working, or I'll say it's in your destiny to have a high profile career where you're working directly with the public, or you're in the public eye. And the 9th house deals with publishing. It can also deal with radio in particular. So you might also want to consider maybe creating a blog talk radio channel and start broadcasting things about maybe men's health. Let me see what else you got. You might want to start writing some books too. But yeah, definitely media, but also the healing component too, because you got your Saturn in Pisces, and that can deal with part of your work does involve healing, medicine, all that good stuff. Okay, who else do we have? Marshall had 2 questions. Let me just pull your birthday, 12/10/1979. Okay, so now I got to try to find your questions, Marshall. If I can't find them, Marshall, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to post them again. Let me make sure I have your name, Janae. Your question. Okay. All right, Marshall, are you there? What time were you born again, Lucky? Because now we're going to have to compare notes, because with the chart I have for you, your Chiron's at the 29th degree of Taurus. So get with me on that, because now my brain is like, okay, what the hell? All right, Marshall, there you are. Okay, Marshall. Oh, thank you, Jules Verne. Marshall, please post your questions again. Samoy said I have 4 planets in Capricorn in the 2nd house. What does that mean? That means that you got to work hard for your money. Don't expect things to just fall easily in your lap, but that's also good for making money independently through a business that you're running. He said, that's why I'm gagging. 11:25 p.m. Let me see. June 18th, 1983. 11:25 p.m. I have 11:25 p.m. and I have June 18th, 1983. Please confirm. Cyril, you are funny, Cyril. And I'm gonna hurt you because you're naughty too. Because I don't think I haven't remember how you've been tearing up in that real talk group before. I still love you though. Okay, Marshall, where you at? Okay, I'm waiting for your question. You said you use Cafe Astrology. Who? Are you asking if I'm a fashionista? Can't be asking me that, because I damn sure ain't no fashionista. Or are you asking Lucky that? All right, Marshall. Wait a minute, where you at? Wait a minute, you posted something, then you got rid of it. Maybe you had to correct it. I'm gonna wait for you. Actually, while you're posting that, I'm gonna go on to somebody else, because time is winding down. Let me see. Nika, where you at? Because you posted a super chat. I'm looking for your question. Yeah, Mercury and Capricorn can suffer from depression, NYC Black Honey. That's just the way it is. But, it's not all lost, because my mom got Mercury and Capricorn. So she does well. Like, she does okay. And I had an ex that had Mercury and Capricorn, and he would fall into depression every now and then. And but he would come out of it. It's just that oftentimes people with Mercury and Capricorn, they take life too seriously. All right, Cherry Love, did you do a super chat? 'Cause I want to make sure I don't miss nobody. Carolyn, did you post your question yet? And I can't find my pen. I'm just terrible. Oh my God, it's terrible. Can you explain Venus oppositions? I usually go off energy. Oh, okay, here it is. Les Cayes, Haiti. Future event, 6 a.m. Okay, I'm confused, Marshall. Because you drew, I have your birth date. So I guess you were born at 6 a.m. Les Cayes, Haiti. So let me edit that. And then post your question. Oh, you're welcome, NYC. Oh, there you are. Paige, I think you did a super chat, didn't you? Paige, did you post your question? So Nika said 9/19/1983. Saturn is training my first house. Am I going through my return right now? Let me just pull yours out real quick. 9/19/1983. Now, some people, they go through their Saturn return and it's only like a little hiccup. Other people, they go through hell. So it really depends on what your Saturn is looking like in your natal to determine how your Saturn return is really going to affect you. Whether it's just going to skate by, you're going to skate through it, or whether it's going to be a monster. For me, it was a monster. It just seems like all of my major transits are monsters. 9/19/1983, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 2:24 p.m. Okay, so you want to know about your Saturn return. Okay. Now your Saturn is in Scorpio, so you're not going to be experiencing a Saturn return. You're experiencing a Saturn square right now. So are you currently going through a job change? Are you thinking about changing jobs, Nika? And Saturn's in your first house right now, like you said, but that wouldn't be considered a Saturn return. So you've already had your Saturn return back when Saturn was in Scorpio. So you're not going to have it again until you're around age 58, 59. But Saturn in your first house, it can be good in terms of your professional life. It could be where you are really at a point in your life where, so you started school for nursing, cool. So you're at a point of professional development, which is very much Saturn in the first house. So that's good. The problem with Saturn in the first house is it can wreak havoc upon your body. It can be debilitating. So it can start to make you feel like you're not whole at times, or you might start to feel like you're kind of, getting old. Like your joints might start to be feeling stiff, or how sometimes you get up and you hear all that cracking, like you might start feeling that more. You might have to make a few trips to the dentist while Saturn's in your first house because it's in Capricorn. You might have to, there might be an issue with your knees at some point. So your body could kind of go through it with Saturn trans in your first house, but it's really good for career. But at the same time, you might be facing some personal limitations, and you might be under a time crunch a lot of times. And it makes sense if you are in nursing school right now. So that makes a lot of sense that Saturn's transiting your first house. Okay, so let's see. Who else? Oh, good. Here's your question, Carolyn. So I'm gonna copy this down, and I'll get to you after I do a couple more. Did already. So I did that one. Did that one. Okay. Okay, who else we got? Oh, you're welcome, Nika. Oh, Siobhan, all that applies because Saturn's in your first house too. Saturn will be entering my first house late this year. So, no, actually next year. So I'm actually looking forward to it because I'm tired of it being in my 12th. Okay, who? Let's see. Who else? Stalin, Carolyn. One more. Nika. Cyril, you said you did a super chat? What's your question? There's Carolyn. Let's see who else. Okay, let me do you, Janae. So, Janae, you're very, your question is very general. So you said born 9/1/85 at 7:07 a.m. Does it mean anything? Well, you're a Virgo that can actually lead, or you might want to lead because you're a 1. Now, Virgo typically is not the sign of the leader, but with your 1 birth number, you very well could have a desire to lead others. And 1 is very creative. It's a number, you can also say it's like a number of the performer. So you might have some performing ability within you as well. 1 also pertains to children. So children will be one of the major themes, if not major challenges in your life. And 1 also pertains to men. So men could be a major challenge in your life as well, especially those type of men that are very aggressive. So if you're very dominant yourself, it might not be easy being in harmonious relationships with dominant males. And it makes sense when I say dominant because you got Mars conjoined to Mercury in Leo, you got your Venus in Leo. So that makes a lot of sense. You got your sun in quincunx to Jupiter in Aquarius. That right there could deal with you attracting a man that is not fully available to you. And it could be because of distance. So you could be in a long distance relationship with a man, especially because your Venus is opposed to Jupiter as well. You could also be in either an interracial relationship or a relationship with someone of a different nationality as well. Your sun is in square to Chiron. That could bring challenges with attracting a man that's going to be fully committed to you, because that could deal with him needing to have someone else, where 1 woman is not going to be enough. To make matters worse, you have sun square Uranus, and that can basically point to the same thing as I said with sun quincunx Jupiter, where you attract men that aren't fully available to you. Let me see. And they could be quite detached at times, and it might be very hard getting close to them. But again, because your Uranus is in Sagittarius, I'm seeing that theme of a long distance relationship also. Venus is in square to Pluto. That's that classic infidelity aspect, cheating, all that type of stuff. And let me talk about some of the good stuff. I just focus on the negative first. I'm just so prone to do that. Now, your North Node's in Taurus, and it's in trine to your Virgo sun. So you should never be without a job, or money. That is good for having stable employment. It's good for having a decent job, having stable income, all of that good stuff. Also, that reinforces that 1 in terms of creativity, artistic expression. So you might have a knack for design. You might even have a talent for singing. Let me know if you do. You definitely have some performing ability. And then your Venus is in trine to your moon, which is really good for being very relatable with the public. You might also have a desire to work with children at some point, and that reinforces your 1 birth number. Quick. Now your South Node's in Scorpio. Here I am getting back to the negative. I can't help it. Your South Node's in Scorpio. That's one of the hardest South Nodes to have because it will be very easy to get into codependent relationships. It's very easy to be in abusive relationships. You could even attract criminals or be a victim of criminal activity. I've seen a lot of people with Scorpio South Nodes have a lot of death surrounding them. So that could be the death of family members and friends. And I've seen Scorpio South Nodes have to suffer with some form of sexual abuse, whether it's molestation or rape or something like that. So trauma is very, you should be very familiar with trauma. I'll say that. You should be very familiar with crisis, but you're supposed to try to move away from that whole framework of this lifetime. You're supposed to try to live a life as peaceful as, like, a life that is as peaceful as it can be. So if that means that you have to cut some people out of your life because you got Jupiter in Aquarius square North Node, which can mean that you got some friends that really aren't of value to you, that really aren't really going to, that really aren't of your standard, that are below your standard. So you have to be about quality in this lifetime, not so much quantity. And that whole emotional bonding thing, don't put much emphasis upon that. And you really shouldn't put much emphasis upon sex either. Unless we're talking about a sex that's in a committed relationship, someone you love and you trust. Uh-oh. What's going on? It looked like it's getting kind of heated in here. Talk about rocky relationships, all this. I'm all up in y'all business. Okay. Who else we got? All right. Carolyn, I'm going to do you. And anybody else that did a super chat, please post a question because there's been so many comments that it's hard for me to catch up. Marshall, did you hear what I was saying? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, let me go back to your question, Marshall. Losing you. Okay, here you go. I made 2. Oh, I got it. One is for your mother. So yours 12,493 and she's 12,1079. So 12,1079 is your mother. So future events, and yours is 12,493, and you want to know what career you should go into. Got it. Sorry for all the confusion. Okay. All right, so let me just paste this. So I have your mother's chart. Let me just pull up yours. So let's see, 12,493. Y'all are both Sagittarius. That's cute. Haiti. Are you still in Haiti, Marshall? Okay, let me change this to Marshall's mother. Okay, so I'm gonna do you first. So you said you had a question about your career, I believe. So what career should I go into now? Let me see. Did you give me your time of birth? 4 p.m. Let me make sure I got that right. Okay. Okay. So career. So you have Capricorn on the midheaven. You have Uranus right on your midheaven. You got that same aspect I have, where I have Uranus right on my midheaven. It's the same degree as my midheaven. And that's how that basically points to me being an astrologer. Now, you in particular, you may not be an astrologer, but that could be a possible career path because you got Uranus on the midheaven. But your Uranus is in Capricorn, and that can deal with perhaps you working within the government, maybe in terms of some social program. This is also good for human resources, being a human resource manager. So I don't know if you ever thought about that. It's also good for social work, especially because you got that wicked Sagittarius stellium in the 8th house. And then you got all that Scorpio energy in your 7th house. You got Libra in the 7th. Venus is in Sagittarius. Have you ever considered being a social worker? This would also be good for promotion. Sagittarius is good for promotions, marketing. Your Mercury is conjoined to Pluto, though, and that's really good for counseling. So you might be drawn to the field of psychology. So again, I'm going back to social work. You might decide to be a licensed clinical social worker, or even a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, maybe even a speech therapist. I have a client that's a speech therapist, and she has, I'm not going to say she has similar placements, but she has some of what I see in your chart. She's working with some of that energy. So that's another one that might appeal to you as well as being maybe a sign language teacher or interpreter. Things dealing with communication on a different level, or a specialized form of communication. This is also good for working within the insurance industry because you got that stellium in the 8th house, and then you got Mercury conjoined to Pluto and Scorpio. 8th house deals with insurance. Scorpio deals with insurance. So those are some of the ideal career options for you. So you might want to, but I think you would really shine in the field of social work in particular, especially dealing with children, because you got your moon in Leo, and your moon is in trine to Mars and the sun in Sagittarius in the 8th house. That could deal with you being a social worker for children, or where you're even like a youth counselor or something like that. And then if you're more of a physical type of person, this is great for being an athletics coach, personal trainer even, especially because of that Scorpio energy. So let me see where you at. So you have considered psychologists. So the fact that you've considered that, you might want to, look deeper into it and see if this is something that you could see yourself doing. Because I will tell you, you will be successful in that area. That is one of your strengths, psychology, and just counseling, period. The problem with that, though, is you might get burnt out after a while because you got Mercury conjoined to Pluto and it's squaring Saturn in Aquarius. So you might feel like after a while, you just want to break free or liberate yourself from that type of heavy type of work. Because after a while, because I've been a social worker before, and that is one of the toughest jobs to deal with, because you're dealing with some of the most troubled people, and you're dealing with the so-called dregs of society. And sometimes if you're an empath like I am, it can be really hard knowing that you can only do so much. And this can deal with a government agency that you're working for. They have certain type of draconian policies and stuff that makes it hard for you to do your job or whatever like that. All right. Carolyn. Oh, no, your mother. So you wanted, so your mother, let me see. Now, mother, you said future events. Now, that's going to be kind of challenging because that right there is very general. And I would have to pull her transits and all that. And I really don't have time for all that. So what I'll do is I'll pull a card to see what major events can transpire over the next year. Actually, I'm going to look at one major event, one future event in particular. And I'm going to try to focus on something good, because I focus on the negative a bit too much. So I'm going to try to focus on something good. And then after I do Carolyn, if nobody else, well, I think Cyril might have had a question. And then if nobody else, again, if you did a super chat, please, 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 question, because I don't want to forget you. But if I happen to miss you, just send me an email at Karma3675. I'm posting it right now. And then let me know. And then I could send you your reading via email. So this is the card that I got for your mother to represent a future event. So this can be where she receives, I'll say this, where she's delivered from a confining situation or a limiting situation. Help comes to her aid. So you could look at that as basically her being rescued by a knight in shining armor. And is she currently in a relationship? Because this card could symbolize that a man will come into her life and he will help to lift some of her burdens and make things very easy on her, or easier, I'll say. Because again, like I said, I was trying to focus on a positive. So I'm trying to interpret the positive out of this card, even though this card can be very negative. So she is in a relationship. So is she married? Let me see. Also, answer this for me. Does she have back problems? Because if she does have any back problems, there's a possibility. So separated. So she might end up meeting someone new that really sweeps her off her feet. But I'm gonna wait till what she said. Oh, you talk about blood types up in here. Yeah, because if she does have back problems, I'm seeing where she can get some help for her back next year or within a year, where she can be alleviated. Some of that pain can be alleviated if she is experiencing some of that. So that's what came up with that. Now let me see a negative event that could transpire in the future, near future. And then I'm going to get to you, Carolyn, and then I think I'm going to wrap things up because it's already past 10. And I wasn't. Now, for the negative event, I got the Three of Cups. And the Three of Cups card typically is not negative, but I know it can produce love triangle situations. So if she were to meet a new guy, that could be part of the problem, that he could already be in a relationship. He could already be married, but this can also point to issues with divorce. So if your mother is married but separated, this could be a problem with maybe divvying up assets or resources, or it could be where she has a hard time just coming to terms with the fact that she's basically single at this point, and that there's no chance of the relationship reviving. But this can also point to a problem with a sister that she has or a close female friend. So that could transpire as well. All right, you're next. Oh, a lot of people dropped off, which is a cue that it's about time to wrap things up. Okay, so let's see, where you at, Carolyn? So Carolyn, 11/7/74, Portsmouth, Virginia. 11/7/74. And I think you're going to be the last of the night. And then, like I said, if I didn't get to anybody, just send me an email. I already posted my email. So you said 11/7. 74. And then 1:17 a.m., Portsmouth, Virginia. Okay, and your question is, I keep getting these crazy supervisors who end up leaving, but another one replaces them 3 in a row. Now, this cannot be a coincidence. Okay, let's see what's going on with your chart. So you said crazy supervisors who end up leaving, but another one replaces them. Right away, I saw that you have your Neptune conjoined to your North Node in Sagittarius, but your South Node is in Gemini, and it's in the 10th house. And that's where the crazy supervisors are coming from. So you got your South Node in Gemini, and the Gemini South Node can produce one crazy type of person. Since it's in the 10th house, it could be your boss, your supervisor, manager, anybody that has authority over you could be cat shit crazy, or crazy as cat shit, might as well say. And the fact that your South Node in Gemini is opposed to your Neptune adds to the craziness. So you could even have supervisors that you tell them certain things and then they forget. And then they're like, hey, Lin, because I'm about to wrap things up for tonight. But I'll still be up, so if you need a reading. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah, so that Gemini South Node in your 10th house, that's the problem right there, opposing Neptune. That could deal with you telling a boss or supervisor something, and then they forget, like you request off, and then they're like, I don't recall you asking for that day off. Or you request for some help, and then they claim they're going to help you, and then they forget or whatever, or they're blaming you for something, or they're falsely accusing you, making you feel like you're going crazy and stuff. So yeah, you got it bad with those supervisors. And because it's Gemini, it will keep repeating. You will like you said, you have one crazy supervisor. Oh, love Morris Sunday already. Yeah, it's only 10:20 in Arizona. So you got one supervisor, they leave, next one comes. That's Gemini. Gemini deals with replication. So it's just going to keep repeating. So the way you get out of this situation, number one, get out of Gemini type jobs. Number two, try to get a job where you can work from home. I know that that's kind of hard to do, but there are some positions that will allow you to telecommute. Also, you might want to think about just being self-employed, because you're never going to be able to get away from these crazy supervisors. And the fact that you got Mercury, which rules that Gemini South Node, being conjoined to Uranus, and Uranus is at the 29th degree of Libra. That's that craziness right there with the bosses, and where they can switch up on you, change up on you, where, again, make you feel like you're going crazy. Oh, that's right, Cherry Love. Happy belated birthday. You're 9/15. And it's already the 16th. I'm sorry. And you kept saying 9/15. I'm terrible. I'm sorry, Cherry Love. Happy birthday. Happy solar return. And she's saying yesterday, but it's still September 15th where I'm at, Cherry. So it's still your birthday here. Did you do anything fun for your birthday? I'm glad that you tuned in on your birthday. I feel special. Wait a minute, where you at, Carolyn? Carolyn, where you at? Did you hear what I said, Carolyn, about your crazy supervisors? You're not going to be able to get away from them. Oh, you're welcome, Cherry Love. And thank you so much for all your support. That can deal with you having your own business in home health care where you're visiting patients on your own or whatever like that. So do what you need to do to make it happen, even if it means you got to go back to school. Make it happen, because you're not going to be able to get away from those crazy supervisors. And from what I see in your chart, they are crazy. I don't see how you last that long. Okay, let me see what else. Aisha. Hey, Aisha. Is there anybody I didn't say hi to? Okay, now I'm getting close to signing off because I'm getting tired. So last call, if anybody posted a super chat and I didn't answer your question yet, please post it, because we have so many comments. Oh, Love More. So Love More, I didn't post your question? Or are you talking to someone else? Oh, but you could catch the replay, Love. Hey, Taj, how are you? You coming in late unless you were here already and you're just saying something. No, I didn't get your message about the mod setup. Did you message me on Facebook or in the chat? Oh, I'm sorry, Love More. Hi, Love More. Now I got to give you some love. Hi, Love More. How you doing? I hope you're having a good night. Okay, so you're just now commenting. So, okay. All right, so I'm about to, okay, click the 3 dots next to the chat text box, enter a username. Oh my God. You talking to somebody that got Mercury and Sagittarius for all these instructions you're giving me. Okay, click the 3 dots. I'm already overwhelmed. Click the 3 dots next to the chat text box, enter a username, set up one list of moderators for your channel. Moderators remain on the list until they are unassigned. So, Lucky, are you volunteering to be a moderator next time? Because I would love to have you as a moderator. Asia Ankh said, read me. I'm an Aquarius, Libra Sun, rising. Wait a minute. I'm an Aquarius, Libras. Wait a minute. Are you an Aquarius sun and a Libra rising? Like, which one is it, Asia? Because you put, yeah, Lucky, sign your soul away. But yeah, I'm about to sign off. So again, if anybody got the super chat and I didn't get to your question, you got about 20 seconds to post your question, and then I'm going to sign off. But again, here's my email. And if I missed you by mistake, I sincerely apologize. But then just contact me via email, and then I will answer your question. And then I'll be having the Eventbrite thing soon. So y'all could throw out some possible topics right now before I go, because I don't know what the next workshop's going to be on. That mystic rectangle, there's really nothing mystical about it. It's just some trines and sextiles. Yes, very much so, Cherry. Which makes me feel good, because if I have very knowledgeable people on my channel, that means that they must respect the fact that I'm knowledgeable. So I like that. Thank you, Henry. I had a lot of fun too. Yeah, I plan on doing live streams much more often. I'm thankful for everybody that hung in there with me, And I hope you guys enjoyed the reading I did on Jada. I enjoyed doing it. I am. I'm tired. I'm tired. Hi, Shawnee. Hello, Sean. How you doing? Oh, thank you, NYC Black Honey 9. I love those hearts. Love More said, how did you feel tonight? I felt good. She said, I look worried behind the eye. No, I think I'm just tired. Oh, that's what somebody meant about tired. I think I'm just tired. But, I mean, I'm feeling good. So what I'm going to do after I get done this, I'm going to take a little mini break. And then I'm going to hit up this natal chart that I'm finishing up. And then I think I'm going to call it a night and go to bed because I got to wake up early. I have to wake up like really early every morning, like around like 4 or 5 and do these forecasts. Because currently I'm doing 3 forecasts for 3 clients. Well, forecasts for 3 clients that I send to them daily. So it's like I have to either I do them the night before or I have to wake up real early and do them. So I definitely can't be up too late. One more time, I need you to look at my boyfriend's chart. I need to know if he's on the DL. He has a lot of Gemini. What's his birth date? I don't have time to pull it right now. Good night, Desiree. Thank you for joining us. Always love your contributions. You got to really question those Geminis because they can't really go either way. Even the straight ones can be very questionable sometimes when you see them do certain things. But that's just because Gemini is just so flexible. They're open-minded. And they really, I've seen a lot of Gemini men not have hangups about, you know, if they're very straight, a Gemini man is not going to have hangups if he's around gay guys. So he's June 9th, 1992. So that can make him very sexual of a Gemini. It can also make him like it could make him attracted to men, but I would have to look at his whole, see, you tempting me. I'm almost tempted to pull his damn chart. And then look, you making it even more intriguing talking about he has Moon in Libra. Oh my God, you tempted me. I'm pulling his chart. Hold on. June 9th, 1992. This is the last one I'm doing. June 9th, 1992. Now, what is it that makes you wonder if he's gay or on the down low? Because, like I said, with some Gemini men, you know, the straightest Gemini men, they can be very comfortable around gay men, and it's not like they don't feel threatened, unlike other signs. A Leo man, he's going to feel threatened. But I have known a Leo man. Well, I did question whether he was bi because he would tell me about, he had this gay weed dealer, and he said that every time he would get weed from the weed dealer, the weed dealer would be like, "Can I suck your dick?" He'd be like, "I'd throw you some free weed if I could suck your dick." And the Leo dude said one time that he hesitated and thought about it. And when he said that, I was like, oh, really? Okay, let me see something. Oh, he do got, oh, Lord, he got that Cancer South Node. I see why you suspect him of being down low. He got a Cancer South Node. That can make him basically be working with some feminine energy under the surface. So, okay, let's say he is straight. That Cancer South Node alone means that he's dealing with some feminine energy. He could have even been a woman in his most recent past life. Yes, very sexual. Let me see about the secretive. What? Let me see. Oh, he got Sun Quincunx Pluto. That's why he's so secretive. And he got, oh my God. Oh, Lord. he got a yod. Let me tell you about this. He got a yod between his sun, Venus, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. Ooh. Yods can produce love triangle situations, number one. But with the planets involved, it can produce a situation where he is on the down low. So I'm going to say, oh, now the truth is coming out. Oh my God, NYC Black Honey, he's a 25. He and a Libra, he very well could be a little, and he got a Scorpio moon. Oh my God. And that's your husband. Hey, Erica. December 28th. Love release. So you're saying December 28th or December 29th? So love more. Hold on. I got to go back to love more real quick. So he doesn't, Lord have mercy. This is juicy. Hold on. Now, his Mars isn't afflicted, but it is in Aries, which can mean that, you know, he could have some sexual attraction to men. It could be a secret sexual attraction because his Mars is at the 25th degree. So it could be where he wouldn't ever let you know, or he wouldn't ever act on it maybe, but he could secretly have that attraction. Let me see. But that Sun quincunx Pluto and Sun quincunx Uranus and Neptune, that's somebody that could be hiding a lot, could be very secretive, like you said. So I would automatically suspect him of at least having he will ask you to lick him down. Well, I would suspect him of having at least one gay affair, at least at one point in his life. And that, you know, he could be attracted to men, but I wouldn't say that he necessarily would act on it. Matter of fact, I really don't see him being the type that would act on it like that. So I'm thinking it's more so dealing with his past life energy. And I wouldn't ask him about it at all unless, you know, he started doing things that really made you really wonder. But because I already gave you the explanation, it's really dealing with his Cancer South Node. I wouldn't put him out there like that and ask him, especially if you think he might get angry. Because let's be real. He got feelings and stuff like that. And let's say that he is dealing with some issues with his sexuality. And let's say that that's a sore spot in him. You don't want to make things worse. And then every time he's around you, he feels like he can't be totally honest with you because he feels like he's going to say something. Or, yeah, you just don't want to like make things too, you know, what's the word? Uncomfortable. I'll say that. Now, you know, if I saw blatant signs of him being down low, I would definitely say it, and I would tell you to call him out on it. But because I'm seeing more so this being internal, he is until he shows me otherwise. Hopefully that helps. And then NYC Black, you said about your husband, September 25th, 1979. Just that 25 alone. Let me just pull that real quick. And then I got to go for real. Or else I'm not going to get this work done. More and more men are starting to be more open to bisexuality. So I don't know how y'all women feel about that. I'm still more old school. So if I was with a man and he opened up and told me that every now and then he likes to get his dick sucked by a man, I'm sorry, I'd be like, well, maybe I'm not the one for you, because I just can't make it. I'm not Jada. I can't make exceptions like that. So I'm gonna do it. So, but more and more women are, you know, open to that type of thing. September 25th, 1979. I wouldn't be able to get it out of my head about him messing with men. Let's see, man. There's that Scorpio moon conjoined to Uranus. That can produce someone that is open to different forms of sexuality. His Mars is doing what? His Mars isn't in bad shape, which is good. It's in sextile to the sun. So he might have had one experience with a man maybe back in his past. And maybe that's what you're picking up on. Let's see. He got Saturn square Neptune, which can deal with, there's some aspects of his life that he's not being upfront about, that he keeps secret. He's not fully dealing with his reality, or he's trying to cover up some of his reality. And then whenever, like Gemini men, whenever all them air sign men, you gotta just take with a grain of salt what they tell you about their sexuality, unless you really know for sure, because just air signs, period, they just have that open-mindedness about them that can cause, especially like if they get a little liquored up, you never know, if the opportunity presents itself. I'm not saying all air sign men are capable of being bisexual. I'm not saying that, or down low. I'm just saying whenever you're dealing with that air sign, could just know that air sign is about, okay, tolerance. It's about open-mindedness. It's about, okay, let's try this. Let's see how that works out. I'm not going to pin anything down firmly. Oh, that happened when I was in college type of thing. Libra moon, strictly dickly. Yeah. So just know that air will cause people to rationalize things. And it makes it easier to be accepting of differences. For gay tendencies, you definitely want to look at Mars and Uranus contacts, Mars and Neptune contacts, those two in particular. So if a man has Mars square Uranus, Mars conjoined to Uranus, Mars opposition Uranus, same with Neptune, he could be on the down low. Neptune, though, can produce a man. He could just be a sex addict. He could be a porn freak. He could be a serial masturbator. So, Erica, you're asking about December 28th. Is that for a man? That right there can produce a Capricorn that, he's very much about the come up. So he's the type that he might marry up, or he's not good. Oh, so it's you. Okay, so that's you. So that's actually good, because number one, that's about the come up. So you'll put yourself in situations where you'll be around people where you can come up, where you can make gains through others. You can benefit through your associations. So stuff like that. So you might even be able to travel on someone else's dime. Have you ever been able to take trips and vacations and somebody else pay for it? Like stuff like that. That's the benefit of being a 28 birth number and you're a Capricorn. Also, that's good for career advancement. Like you might have a job, you might only be working there for 3 months. Next thing you know, you get a promotion. Or it's very easy for you to move up to management. Good, good. Now, children will be maybe one of your main challenges in life. So I don't know if you have children, but they very well could be one of your major challenges in life. But the same with men. And the issue with the men is the men might have this cycle thing where I just mentioned cycle. So let me tell you about the cycle thing in a minute. That's why you feel stuck. But the cycle thing where they might cycle in and out of your life. So a man might be in your life and then you might not hear from him for a couple of years and then he might just come back and resurface. But know that as a 28, your life runs in cycles. It runs in cycles of ups and downs. And so sometimes your life is going to be on the upswing and things are going to be moving and grooving. You're going to be having this, making good money, got a good job, you get a promotion, you're making all these gains and progress. And then now that could go on for maybe 3 years. It can even go for 5 years, maybe even 10. Because again, cycles is the key word. One of the key words for 28. So travel is another one. But with the cycles, you'll have cycles of ups and downs. So you're probably in a down cycle right now, which is why you feel stuck. But know that it's going to turn around. But usually it's never going to be where you turn it around. It's usually an outside force that's going to come and turn it around for you. So know that even though you feel stuck right now, it's for a good reason, and use that to basically improve upon your strengths, improve upon what you already have. So when you get into that next cycle, you'll be ahead of the game. All right. Now I'm leaving for real. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, the rest of it that's left. I know we only got Sunday at this point. And to all those that got to go to work on Monday, you know, don't look at it like, oh, you know, it's all about attitude. If you bemoan going to work on Monday, it's going to suck. But if you look forward to certain things, and it can be little things, like maybe you're looking forward to eating that egg and cheese bagel sandwich on Monday morning that you're going to get at Dunkin' Donuts, or that the iced coffee you're going to get at Starbucks or something like that. Like, think positive about Monday if you have to go to work, because a lot of times we do get in that funk on Sunday night and be like, I don't feel like going to work and all that stuff. Oh, good, Lin. I look forward to doing your readings. So, yeah, good night, everybody. Many blessings. Oh, yeah, we could talk about Drake next time, too. Yeah, I've never done a reading about him. Maybe it's due to it's time to do one for him. But, yeah, I had a great time. Thank you, everybody. Peace and many blessings. And if you would like a reading, I'm going to drop my website one more time. Just go to Rabina.com. Click order a reading up at the top. I also have some good informative information on there. So next time you'll see me, I'll probably be doing another video on YouTube. I don't know about what. Actually, it'll probably be the free readings. So thank you again. And until next time,